Please be recording.
Are you able to hit record?
Okay. Greetings, guys and gals, and welcome back to Gather Geek. That's right, baby. We're back and better than ever because tonight we have a little bit of a roundtable discussion on Elestrals' newest upcoming set, Divine Champions Firestorm. I've assembled the rest of the Council of Geeks with me here. This is the rest of the Gather Geek playtest group for Elestrals. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Guys, tell the other audience who you are and where they can find you if they can find you on the internet.
Hey, I'm Dana. It's awesome to be officially introduced on the channel now. You can find me at DanasaurYGO on YouTube, where I post Yu-Gi-Oh content and soon to be some Elestrals content, and there's a little bit of Lorcana stuff on there too, but it's a little bit older. I don't really cover it that much anymore, but there's definitely some new Yu-Gi-Oh stuff coming out and a lot of Elestrals going forward.
Hi, I'm Sam. Smams YGO is where you can find me on YouTube. I don't really have content on there though because the ban was devastated me. I'll get around to it though at some point.
Awesome. All right, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the cards in the upcoming Divine Champions Firestorm set. I will probably shorten that to Firestorm the rest of the way because that's a mouthful. In the upcoming Firestorm set, and we'll kind of just give a brief overview of if we think it's a good card, does it have a home yet, predict if it will or won't find its way into the meta, if you think it's got a place somewhere already, if it makes another deck better or augments, etc. So what I'm gonna do is I have the set list here. We're also gonna have them up behind us for all of you at home. So let's I'm just gonna go right through the set list. The first card in the set is Treacherous. I think this card is I'm just kidding. We're not gonna cover the spirits, although
It's Bug.
he's a bug.
He's a bug. It makes him instantly amazing.
Pretty cool bug. New art real quick on the spirits as we go. I like it.
Actually, we're gonna do this.
Oh, so you can see a little bit. There you go.
Yep.
New art. I like the new art on the spirits.
I actually love, like, it's very...
I need 7,000 of those Leviathans right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a call to my bank that I don't have money for.
It's so
It's me
cool,
a thing.
like, being in, like, a cavern that kind of represents, you know, their...
The location, the
Yeah,
heart of where the
yeah.
divine is, right?
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
cool. It's so cool. Specifically, I want to point out the Owl Loon. I love that.
Just like little somebody's bedroom
Oh.
window.
He's just like...
Yeah, no, the artwork
I,
on these are amazing.
The Zaptor kind of like sleeping in the cave with the rain outside reminds me of the like original series of Pokemon, the Charizard, the Charmander hiding in the rain.
I would bet money that that's actually the reference.
Definitely the inference. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So first set of cards are we're going to talk about the champions of Demeter. First is Pandasine, who is a 2/4 for 1 Earth. You can return up to 2 Earth from your underworld to your spirit deck if you have a Demeter enchanted when you activate his effect. The other is Verdolith. We're getting another Lith, a reprint of our Lith, Champion of Demeter. This one's a 2/6 for 2 Earth. He has the Lith ability where you can cast him for the 2 Earth if Demeter is enchanted. His effect is when you target this Verdolith with your Demeter's effect, you can special cast a 1 Spirit Earth Celestial from your hand, and you can only activate that effect once per turn. Thoughts? My thoughts are, I think these guys might be bad.
Verdolith might see some play in the future. Definitely not right now. 100%. Pandasine it's only worth it if you also have, like, say, Foiloid Forest on the field, because that thing needs to be at least a 5, and all it's doing is healing. Although it is cool because it's not like a Nexus thing, it's just your once per turn ability on it. So if it sticks around, you get a heal 4 instead of a heal 2.
Yeah, some heal. Maybe it finds its way into the heal stall strategy, but I'm guessing it just doesn't fit their.
I just think there are better things you can do with your spirits.
Yeah, I think that's it.
You know, just like play an Earthquake and then Viscerous.
Now, that being said, if you have the Pandasine in your hand, right, that's what the Verdolith says. Is
That's kind of the supposed
That is kind of
synergy.
funny that you can do that. You know,
Yeah.
Cast Verdolith, and then, you know, Pandasine kind of heal back, you know, basically the cost of Verdolith out. The problem that I have with Verdolith is that it's a 2-beater.
Yeah, that's it.
It will-
Attack makes it.
It would go up to 5 in that because you targeted it with your Demeter.
Yeah.
Demeter gives +3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
but
and
the-
then if
the
you got
thing
the
is-
forest on, it gets even a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
so.
but then the panda scene doesn't have great
Die the
stats.
next turn.
Yeah.
It's Magic Fairy Tale Land. Like, I mean, we're trying to make a combo out of 2 cards that are mid.
Can't you just
In
play
reality.
like the Earth Artifact deck?
Yeah, I feel
Do
yeah.
that instead.
So
Verdalith
overall,
is okay.
yeah, Verdalith okay. Overall, I don't think they're going to make much of a splash. Next up is Titanostock, the champion of Aeolus. He's a 2/5 for 1 Earth. You can Nexus an Earth or a Wind. When you do, you can enchant Wind to your field. Probably also bad. Like a Nexus ability is always interesting. It's got the 2 attack is problematic, but a 5 but.
I think this could see rogue play in, say, like a future 5s build, even in this set kind of 5s build, as we see 5s kind of start to take the back. As you know, I mean, a good stuff pile is the core of every trading card game.
Right.
But as 5s takes the back seat of what should be rogue, and that's where good stuff pile should always be, is a rogue deck. Titanostock might see some kind of rogue play there, just because it is a 5 booty that is just you can Nexus is
Okay.
really that. So it's like 5's Nexus builds.
I could see it as like Wind Nexus's way to get additional spirits on their field. Because
Yeah,
that's actually a really
it's
good
generic for that deck outside of the initial cost.
Yeah, the problem I see with it is, again, it's Earth. So it's kind of forcing you into an Earth Wind build.
Yeah.
What are you doing with it?
Well, the thing about playing off spirit cards like that is they're generally better if they're cards like Narpoon, Peliquarius, Small Tuga, cards that get you advantage the turn you play them.
Yeah, instantaneously.
But like consistency as well, like you get to search the Elestral that you want. This is just giving you an extra spirit.
I think the Titanostock also mid.
It is just, it's one of those things where it's like the things that say when this Elestral receives a wind. So a card like P-Gust now takes out 2. If you have this on the field, if it survived because it does have the 5 defense, you can play P-Gust and then double P-Gust. Like, that is kind of pretty good.
Maybe.
But then again, this is in a rogue deck.
Yep.
Of course.
All right, so let's talk about the champions of Hermes. First is Spine Imp. He's a 2/4 for 1 Earth. When you normal cast this Spine Imp, you can search your deck for a Hermes and add it to your hand. So we're already getting the Divine Search for Hermes. You can disenchant a Wind from this Spine Imp, which maybe you could put there with Titanostock. And if you do so, you can special ascend this into a Spinosect from your hand or deck. What is Spinosect? He is a 5/7 for an Earth and a Wind. When you cast Spinosect, you can return an Elestral to its owner's hand, so a bounce effect. And when this Spinosect is sent from the field or deck to your underworld, you can Nexus up to 2 Wind.
I like that. The problem is, I think they're trying. This is more cards that are going from deck to underworld is really cool because we kind of get away from the whole, you know, they were calling it like the tier limits deck with the Moraliths. I can't even remember the name.
Blistrix.
Blistrix, yes, thank you. This card won't see play in that deck, but it could just kind of start its own other route. I don't think it's going to do anything right now. Then again, I haven't seen all of the cards in this set, but it is interesting. It's something to look at for sure.
As we'll see as we get into actually Hermes and some of the other champions and some of the other, and specifically the Wind stuff, you'll see that's kind of what they're doing, and I wonder if that deck is good. I have a take, but I'm going to save it for Hermes, I think.
I was going to bring that up, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll save it for then.
So we have a couple of interesting cards. Next up is Drataya, Escaped from Tartarus. Our little fruit boy is back, eating up those ambrosias. He's a 2/4 for 1 Earth, and you can discard an ambrosia or a golden apple of discord in order to draw 2 cards. He's dead, right? Like, I don't have to worry about this card being good anymore.
No.
If
Gone.
it sees play ever, shout out Golden Apple for getting an increased play rate as a result, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like Golden Apple of Discord as a
I
card.
think it's a
because
nifty
I
card.
like a lot of the
It's
runes
nifty.
in this game because they have interesting abilities.
In one of the most recent webcam tourneys I played in, I absolutely got decimated by a guy in my final round who Golden Apple of Discorded discarding a Celestial or Rise from the Ashes, look at the top 4 and pop my whole board turn 1 both games. I'm like, yeah, man, you did it. You had all the things
I
and
think
you
that
did it.
might be a skill issue on your end. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
Oops.
Yeah.
The next one's really interesting. This is Viscerous. Yes, just Viscerous, not champion of anybody. Same name as the one that exists. However, this one is a 4/1 for 1 Earth. He still gets +1 for each Viscerous on the field. And while there is another Viscerous on the field, this one is unaffected by your opponent's counter runes. So quick clarification on how this works, apparently. You are still limited to your 3 Viscerouses per deck. The old one is limited to 2. So you could play 2 of these and 1 of those, or 2 of those and 1 of these, or 3 of these.
Interesting.
God, it's very interesting. So it's like
going to make future ban lists a nightmare, though.
Yeah, they're going to have to start banning by set number, essentially, or...
Retroactively give them names that
Maybe.
are different.
Yeah.
But then at that point, they're... I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird.
Might see an errata of some kind, but I don't know how that'll work exactly.
I like it as a mechanic stand idea. Like,
Me too.
I always liked you get the Duel Links ban list where you know these cards, but you only have so many of them off the whole list.
Mhm.
Like, I love that idea, but it's gonna make tracking ban list cards a nightmare. People are gonna show up to events with stuff that's banned and go, "What? I didn't know this was banned. It's not that name." Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
His effect, though, if there's another one in play, this one's unaffected by counter runes. He's at least a 5 because he'll see himself, and there will be another one, so he's a 6 beater. Unaffected by counter runes, probably good. I feel like 2 of the old ones, 1 of this guy is probably the new sweet.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're playing the old Viscerous still, this gives that like, just it gives you your 3rd Viscerous, but I mean,
But it's actually kind of better. Like,
yeah, like it. The thing about the 3rd Viscerous with the old one is that it's like it doesn't get you anything from the deck when it kills.
Yeah, all the guys are
because
gone.
they're all gone. This one is just more like a solid individual card.
Yeah, I think this putting Viscerous as a name back to 3 and giving it a good target for the second one probably sees mass play.
Yeah.
Again, probably 2 of the old ones with 1 of this guy, but you'll see this guy in a bunch of lists.
I assume that's a bug as well.
He is definitely a bug. Yeah.
Okay, so the Insect X will take advantage of that at some point.
I think you might actually see 3 of this one.
It's possible. He's always a 5 beater who's, if happens to be another one, is unaffected by counter runes, and then they're both 6s.
They're both unaffected by counter runes.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, I understand.
All right. Next up is Panzer, who is a 3/4 for 1 Earth. When you cast him, you can enchant any number of Earth to this Panzer up to the number of Elestrals on your opponent's field. When he is destroyed in battle, you can draw a card for each enchanting spirit. Feels like a trick, right? Like it's a trap. Yeah, like
gimmicky.
this card reads like
So
it's busted, but
what
it's
is
not.
it? How does it trigger for the second when it's
When it's
destroyed
killed
in
in
battle?
Yeah,
Poison tipped arrow.
yeah. That just feels like poison tipped arrow ruins your day.
Yeah.
And not that we want to not play cards because our card exists, but the fact that you just get blown out and lose the game because you committed to this.
Yeah.
3/4 a body.
Well,
Like, it's not like he's doing anything for you other than the card draw,
the thing
if he makes it there.
at least it says up to the number, so you don't have to enchant any spirits. But I mean,
If you're playing, and why you're not.
It's a one cost 3/4.
Yeah.
That if
card
they
would-
have PTA, it does nothing. Like that's not
Well,
playable.
it can still attack with PTA.
That's fair.
This card does something if there's a main 2, which there is not.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
if there's main phase 2, there's a good card, but
Yeah.
we don't have that, so this card's no good. Poor Panzer. Guy's never been good.
No, you know what? At one of the Millennium Games monthly events that we went to, someone used the original Panzer, killed it, and then sent. I think it is on when it's sent to the underworld.
Okay.
The original Panzer. I could be mistaken or how it happened. It doesn't matter. It was Panzer. And sends the 4/6 Cedar Sword.
Cedar, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
you
was
can
like,
send Cedar with him, sure.
and you know what? And it dealt it, and I was like, oh, okay, and that's during battle, so
Oh, yep.
yeah, it was interesting.
Speaking of things that are going to change the way we do battle math, segueing slightly.
Yeah.
Allow me to introduce you to the 3 champions of Hephaestus. First is Rumacol, champion of Hephaestus. He's a 3/2 for 1 fire. When you cast him, you can return an artifact rune from your underworld to your hand, and he gets +1 for each enchanted artifact rune on the field. Not on your field, on the field. Great in mirror matches. Scavacol, his Ascension, the champion of Hephaestus, is a 6/6 for 2 fire. This Scavacol in your hand can special ascend for can special ascend from your 1 fire Elestral if you have at least 2 enchanted artifact runes on your field. Artifacts that were empowering that Elestral will now empower him. Instead of falling off, they'll transfer over. And the big daddy of them all, who, by the way, we're about 2-ish weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks till when this comes out to Firestorm being released. The Rumacol and this card, Volcari's Champion of Hephaestus, are legal now because they were in the Shattered Stars, so they became legal May 1st. Check our video list. We have a video coming up with a deck profile on a really cool deck playing these cards. What is it, you ask? Volcari's Champion of Hephaestus? Happy to tell you. He's a 4/2 for 1 fire. When you cast him, you can search your deck for a Hephaestus and add it to your hand. And while Hephaestus is enchanted and he's in play, and this guy's in play, whenever you play an artifact rune, you may pay for it with fires from your underworld. Guys, I think this stuff is busted. Scavacol, give or take, because he's an Ascension, but the other 2, nuts.
This is going to be a very serious contender in the meta, in my opinion, especially with what we already have in terms of Fire Artifact being one of the first structure decks, the Trifernal deck, kind of going towards the artifact side of things, or the Hephaestus side of things.
And I know you haven't seen everything in the set yet. Wait until we get down to the second layer of fire cards, because we don't have to play Hammer of Hephaestus and any of the bad ones anymore. There's a bunch of good ones.
I was gonna say it's like an onion. It's got layers. You just peel it back, and it's just like, oh, that's here. All right.
Yeah, much like the Hermes with the other stuff.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Most of it is consumable.
It is insane. Yeah.
All right. So this is gosh, I hope it's good. It has to be good. Please, whatever divine deity, let it be good. Let me introduce you guys to the champions of Hestia. This is Earth Scout. The Bears are back in town. He's a 2/4 for 1 fire. When you special cast him, mind you, you can search your deck for a champion of Hestia and add it to your hand. Maybe kind of tough to do, but we should remember that the original Seer can special summon a bear when it kills on combat, and the Earth Scout special summons when it dies in combat. So maybe not impossible to trigger that effect. And his big mama is Majursa, champion of Hestia. She is a 3 fire Ascension. She's an 8/13, and when you cast her, you can target and destroy cards up to the number of Bear Ursa Elestrals, on your field. Your Ursa Elestrals get +1 for each fire enchanting Hestias on the field.
Already a guaranteed pop 1.
Yeah. Minimum pop 1 just by itself.
Yeah, which is kind of just crazy already.
Can't you cast that from the deck off Ursa Den?
Ursa Den puts it into play for free. Sure does.
And that counts as a cast.
Yep.
So
Ursa Den is now it's no longer... How fast that we were able to put Majursas and Glaciuses into play before, it's not even really a ticking time bomb, but just kind of like, hey, look, I'm a bomb, and then it explodes.
Yeah.
But now instead of just putting Majursa who protects your stuff, or Glaciursa who's just, hey, I have trample, I guess, I pierce, you can put this thing in play and nuke their whole board.
Proactively win the game.
Yeah, I think Bears will probably still maintain a spot as just a rogue deck, but I think it will now be an absolutely dangerous rogue deck that has the potential to blow you out on a whim.
I think it's going to be the archetype that starts archetypes. Like we already have, some archetypes within the game. I feel like this is going to ring like how Harpy Lady does in Yu-Gi-Oh, where it was just like the first one. It's never been very playable except for in one format. And you know what? If Ursas do that, Awesome.
This is another one of those things that it's legacy support will always create more opportunities, right? Like every single card that comes out that has that little bear icon Ursa in the corner makes every one of these cards better, and if one of them unlocks the whole thing, this card is gonna be why. Majursa is the reason why.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, clearing up boards, pumping up your team by a lot, and like Ursa then just putting it into play. Cheat it up.
Yeah, cheating guys into play in this game is how you have to win.
Yeah.
Like, and this is a good one to put in play. All right, Hestia's got a few more critters at her command. We're going to start with 2 of the insectoids that will go in the Lair of Flarachne deck that the new field spell that we'll talk about when we get down to the other part of the fire. But first is Warmite, champion of Hestia. He's a 3/1 for 1 fire. When he receives 1 or more fire, you can target an Elestral and give it -3 attack until the next turn. So it goes, they fix the wording on when does things wear off in the end phase until the next turn starts, like all the way to the end. When a player casts Hestia's Hearth, you can return up to 2 fire from your underworld to your spirit deck. Like, so this card's got some healing on it, it's giving the debuff. The other card, his Ascension, Flarachne, champion of Hestia, is a 5/7 for 2 fire. You can disenchant a fire from your Hestia to search your deck for an Arachne's Lair, the field spell, and add it to your hand. During each end phase, an opponent must expend spirits equal to the number of Elestrals on their field if Arachne's Lair is still enchanted. So it's passive burn with a heal and a combat trick. What do we think of the bugs that Hestia is wielding?
It might be the first Ant Titan deck. It would be like a tricolor kind of deal.
Okay.
But really, it's
so
if you're gonna do something like this, you might as well play Ursus. Is kind of where I'm at with it. Although there are insectoid enthusiasts, just like there's enthusiasts for everything. So that might just see some rogue cool play.
We'll see
Maybe
some more things
somebody
that
will
combo
solve it.
into it with the Arachne's Lair. But Sam, any thoughts on these 2 fire ones?
I like that Arachne's Lair is searchable. I just don't really like how difficult it seems to get to, efficiently.
I hate that it's like, so we've seen a bunch of Elestrals do the when I come into play, I search for the thing. This one's an Ascension. That's the problem. Like,
and the card you're searching for wants you to play cards with those names.
Yeah.
So like you're already down a card of that name.
Mm-hmm.
If that was like an in-hand effect where you could reveal it, I know that's kind of like insane, but I mean you reveal it, expend whatever, and then you search the Arachne's Lair.
Sure.
That would be preferred. But
I'll tell you what. So this is might be a hot take, and we'll talk about it a little more when we get to Arachne's Lair. I've seen the internet. There's a lot of folks really excited about this deck. Think it might be a trick. And A-Drive himself, this is what he plays in his current gunslinger matches: is spiders, Arachne's Lair, this kind of stuff. So it's obviously good. I think it might be overhyped. We'll see. All right, the last champion the last 2 champions of Hestia. The first is Amphirix, who's a 3/4 for a fire. You can disenchant a fire from your Hestia, again, not from it, from Hestia, in order to add a 1 spirit fire Elestral from your underworld to your hand. So much like the Amphirixes before that special summon themselves, this one's trying to recur itself. When you ascend this Amphirix, though, during your end phase, you can special cast it from your underworld with a fire. So if you get to ascend him, he'll come back instead of having to be killed.
free body.
And then Torchin, champion of Hestia. This little guy. He's a 1/1 for 1 fire. When you cast this Torchin, you can search your deck for a Hestia or a Torch of Hestia and add it to your hand. Then, also, just as a totally separate effect, you can Nexus a fire.
I was gonna mention there's a period there that just you can Nexus a fire.
Yeah.
And that's actually kind of
Yeah, so I'm upset about that Torchin because it's
this guy
absolutely
broken.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
It's a 1/1, so it can't go into combat unless you put an artifact on it.
If only there was a way
Only
that I
there's a
could
way to
make
give it
my
plus
little
5.
guy bigger.
Yeah.
How would I do? Artifact.
Yeah,
Oh.
just throw a necklace of Harmonia on there or something. I don't know. Have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really worried that this guy might wind up having to go to 1. This guy might be busted.
I wouldn't be surprised if it does, because it's very generic.
We're going to talk later on when we get to the Lunar stuff. I have a take that I'm pretty sure a card we currently have has to go to 1 before the set comes out, or we're in trouble.
Hilarious.
Anyway,
I can't
the
wait to
last
hear it.
2 fire cards we have are not champions. They're just, much like the Viscerous, they're named the same as former cards, so you'll have to choose how many copies of each ones you want to play. This one I like a lot, actually. It's Ignector. He's a 1/2 for 1 fire, and when you cast this Ignector, you can search your deck for a Nectar of the Gods and add it to your hand. If you remember, the old Ignector says when you cast Ignector, you can search your deck for other Ignectors and put them in play. So you find the little one, puts these ones, you get Nectar of the Gods. We don't really play Nectar of the Gods a lot, but maybe.
There might be something cool with it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in the future, some kind of self-mill or deck depletion thing happens.
If
like
there's a deep draw deck, this is going to be hot.
yeah, or like a Lab Maniac deck.
Exodia.
For
Big
those
Zodia.
for those who don't know, Lab Maniac, it's a card from Magic. It says when you would draw a card and you can no longer draw a card because your deck is empty, you instead win the game instead of lose.
So yeah, if we have something like that, or a deep draw to something combo deck, this has got to be probably how.
I mean, isn't the fire deck looking to do a bit of healing with that Warmite? I think you could probably offset Nectar's cost, and because it's searchable, you play it.
Maybe.
I mean, I would.
Maybe.
Just throw it in there. It's free. I don't know. Maybe it's just taking up a spot that you could play that's like a defensive card instead. Or just like an Elestral.
Like I said, I think it feels more like a combo piece to me that we're not ready for, but someday it's gonna have to go to 1 because it.
Yeah. I mean, it searches Pot of Greed.
It's a fabled Lurry.
Sure.
Kind of deal.
It is.
Our last
I like it.
fire card is the Ascension Waspire. He's back after getting towards Retaya banned. They've given Waspire a new effect. He's a 6/1, so very ediable or tsunamiable. 6/1 for 2 fire. You can discard a fire card to force an opponent to expend spirits equal to the enchantment cost of the discarded card. So he's got all of my cards become free burn spells once per turn.
My Lavalith won me a game because I discarded it and they had 1 spirit. We broke Lavalith.
Majursas, that 3-cost Majursa we were just talking about, like, bye.
This is going to be a combo deck, and it's going to be playing 3 Rise from the Ashes.
If only there was a way in red in fire to draw a lot of extra cards. You always had a bunch of stuff to get you. Oh,
if only there was a card that searched to draw to.
Yes, if only there was a way to search Nectar of the Gods.
And the thing is, you can bring that out of the deck, so you don't even have to open it.
And then, oh man, and then the other one summons copies, so now all of a sudden you have Ascension targets for your.
And they're all Insect Elestrals. I wonder if the Arachne's Lair mentions them.
It might be, could be, who knows? All right,
Looking like a
so
0/0 deck.
Having multiple of those on the board while having draw power is going to be stupid.
Well,
Yeah.
Arachne's Lair is draw power.
yeah, wait until you see it. Right, like
Yeah.
this is.
I remember someone telling me about it. I haven't personally read it.
I think it will be a deck that people experiment with. My hot take that the internet will disagree with is I don't think it's going to actually be that good, but it is going to look like a thing for a while as people lab around with it. Moving on to our water cards. So, welcome the Champions of Poseidon. We're going to go through I'll go through the first 3 at once. First is Sluggle, Champion of Poseidon. He's a 1/3 for 1 water. When this Slugger receives 1 or more water with Poseidon's effect, which Poseidon obviously nexuses to him, you can special send him to a Globby from your hand or deck. I will read you Globby, Champion of Poseidon, but then a quick caveat. Globby, Champion Poseidon is a 5/8 for 2 water. When you cast this Globby, you can search your deck for an Atlantis or a Rise from the Depths and add it to your hand. So again, we're getting the cool combo bit pieces on an Ascension. I'm kind of not on board with. I'm touch and go. Let me offer you a different world. What instead of this Globby, what if we played original Globby, who says when he comes into play, his effect is if he's ever triple enchanted with water instead of just the 2, you can automatically ascend him into a Majesty out of your deck, which, if you're using Champion of Poseidon Sluggle's effect, Globby will automatically come into play with that 3rd water on him, and then immediately transform into, may I present to you, Skill Drain on a card, but better. This is Majesty, Champion of Poseidon. He is a 6/14 for 3 water. While Poseidon is enchanted, and this card is in attack position, spirits that are enchanting Elestrals are all water instead of their original type. You can return up to 2 water from your underworld to your deck if this Majesty's in defense position. So
This card does everything.
I'm going to
Plenty
turn
of
this one
water.
over to Sam because I think I heard my favorite water player's erection as soon as I got to some of this. Sam,
Yeah.
tell me about our friends Majesty and Poseidon buddies.
Yeah.
Hold it up. Okay.
So,
Keep that.
so for anyone who's unaware, if they didn't see A Drive's video about these cards when they initially got spoiled, the combo is that you have Sluggle and the new Sluggle, Champion of Poseidon, and you have Poseidon, the Divine Rune, in your hand. You play the Sluggle, and you play the Poseidon, and you put however many additional water spirits you want on it. You then activate Poseidon's effect, nexusing to the Sluggle. The Sluggle effect triggers, and you get the old Glauby, and then due to the rules of the game, when you ascend, you have to put another spirit on it. That's why it'll have 3 and can go into the Majesty. So, turn 1 Majesty, I am extremely excited. Noteworthy that while the attack position effect requires Poseidon to be enchanted, the defense position effect does not.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just stall while you need to on a 14. I like the other Glauby, the Champion of Poseidon, but that's because I'm going to try and build Water Reanimator in like this kind of deck as well, because
he's
Reanimating Majesty is disgusting.
Yeah, new Globby's also good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But-
Turn 1 Majesty, the potential is pretty insane. However, because the Sluggle Champion of Poseidon is like a trigger effect, when you send it to the graveyard after getting the Glauby from its effect, if you get the new one, you can search Rise from the Depths and then just Rise from the Depths to Sluggle. And then if you play another Poseidon, you can then move the spirit to that and then get the old. So it's like you just get additional big bodies for free while also interrupting your opponent because the Majesty is gross.
Why do I feel like he just narrated the way I'm going to lose a webcam game at some point?
Have you read Altar of Stars, bro? I'm going to change
saying.
the Majesty.
Dana, any thoughts on these silly cards?
Sam said most of it. It's really cool to see like the first like true floodgate in this game. The fact that it's a nod to Blood Moon, I guess more accurately would be Harbinger of the Sea in Magic. You know, when we're talking floodgates, it's not. I wouldn't call it a skill drain.
Kind of, though.
It is kind of a skill drain with how the games work, but
A fun
it's
thing
still,
that
you know,
fun thing to
it's
talk about too,
so
though,
good.
with this is remember that, so because he turns all of the Elestrals in play, they all are now water enchanted instead of whatever they normally are. Things that are misenchanted are not quote enchanted for the purposes of things that check for, like, so if you have an Elestral that requires another Elestral to be in play, they don't see each other because it's not properly enchanted. Like, it turns off some weird things like that too.
Also, Galaxy, the old one, will permanently switch their stats.
Yeah, by the way.
The new, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's just very funny.
Oh yeah, the whale, by the way. Don't forget about him, guys. He's good again.
Yeah.
Not that he was ever bad, but he's good, real good again.
So you're telling me if you
Also, the Majesty while in attack mode will be a 14/6.
Yeah. Yeah. Dumb.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm so excited to play.
Don't
these
worry.
water cards.
The Blistrix deck can just put a guy
Oh.
into play, and then wait, no, none of their
Yeah.
things are all water enchanted.
And-
None of them work.
And also with the Glauby Champion of Poseidon, if you open Rise from the Depths because you're playing 3 of it, you just search your 1 of Atlantis, and then your Majesty's a 17.
Yeah, this is the other deck.
No, it'll be 18. It'll have an additional spirit on it.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
18.
There are 2 decks I'm looking forward to build day 1 for Firestorm. This is the other one. Hey, those are only the first 3 of Poseidon's little pals. How about we check out the rest of them? Although, spoiler, I don't think they quite live up to what this Majesty just did.
I mean, I'm still gonna.
Yeah, we're still gonna
see
pog
however
about it a
they
little
fit
bit.
into this never-ending puzzle of how I win the game.
So let's talk about Veritaqua, champion of Poseidon. He's a 4/3 for a water. When he receives one or more water in a Nexus from Poseidon, because that's what Poseidon does, you can special ascend it to a Veritaqua or a Javelantis from your hand or deck. So you can go get another one of these, or one of the
Nice.
old Veritaquas, or the old Javelantis, or this new Javelantis, champion of Poseidon. He's an 8/3 with 2 water. It'll be 3 if you did this part right. Actually, it'll be 4 if you do this part right, I think. When you cast Tsunami, you can special ascend this Javelantis in your hand from one of your 1-cost water Elestrals. Your water enchanted Elestrals deal piercing damage while Poseidon is enchanted. Oh, if only there was a card in the game that would make all of my big guys suddenly and violently water enchanted. Oh wait, Majesty does that. Oh wait.
Violently water enchanted.
Yeah.
Yo, so like, does this game's combat rules work like Yu-Gi-Oh, where if the number of Elestrals or an Elestral changes mid-attack, you get to go somewhere else? Or does the attack just go through?
The attack doesn't actually happen, so you can even attack with something else and then redeclare with the Elestral that
Point of order.
it's kind of, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I believe if your legal target is still in play, if your target of the attack goes away, then your attack isn't wasted. But if your target's still there, it continues through.
Either way, it's just very funny that you can Tsunami someone and then just put an 8 into play on their turn.
Put an 8 into play, or summon it for free with a Veritaqua.
Yeah.
Or, like,
Well,
I mean,
the thing is,
Keep in mind,
you Tsunami them, so they're all in defense. You get to pierce over, even though they're all in defense.
and the old Veritaqua kills guys
Yeah, it's
for free in defense mode.
Yeah, it's like a Suzuki Samurai kind of deal.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so
my thing,
good.
this is not going to see play in the Majesty build.
correct.
This is going to see play in a Schnark build because you can search Tsunami High Tide with this, and if you have, say, like Joblin on the board, they don't even have to have their stuff. You can turn one of theirs, turn it, you draw a card with Joblin, ascend into that. All of a sudden, they're crying.
Yep.
And that's it. Like that is going to see play in a Schnark build,
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
A
and
Fantasy.
it's when you cast Tsunami, so it happens on resolution of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
like,
Which you can even then
the
leave
cover.
your set Tsunami for
yeah,
later too.
that's awesome. I love those cards.
One last
love all of
champion
these
of
cards.
Poseidon. It's the whale we were talking before. It's Galaxy's back. He's a 2/5 for 1 water, just like before. And he says, whenever he receives 1 or more water, you may swap each Elestral's attack and defense for until the next turn. So he's 1 turn Galaxy.
Yeah, but it switches everything,
And not
including
just
the
water.
water enchanted.
Yeah.
He's more utility.
Yeah, he
This
doesn't
than-
just
than
swap
the old
waters.
one.
Yep.
I would say it has more of a degree of like control over its ability, but also less of a degree over control of its ability.
The same
Compared
thing we
to the old
talked
one?
about with the guy that the Verdolith gets big off the Demeter pump, but then it's still just a 2 the next turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has more kill their guy in combat ability, but it has less what do you do about me? I'm big ability on the
Yeah.
crackback.
But in all fairness, have you read Altar of Stars?
Right. Again, Ultra Stars is now
so good.
a permanent part of the meta again because Divines will be important. They will be everywhere. You will have a Nexus Bank going, and so many cards in this set are dealing with positions of cards and
Yeah.
I do want to mention this flipping everything does not get turned off by Dense Fog. It does not get stopped in the damage step by Gorgon's Gaze.
Yeah.
It is a permanent, well, not permanent, that's obviously until the end of turn, but it is just a lingering effect.
static floating effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Separate
For
from
the
Limbo once it resolves.
yeah.
That's another thing. It is less susceptible to counters in battle than original
Yeah.
Mhm.
Galaxy
It
is.
might be a spicy one of to play alongside, or even just if you're going full whale, maybe go full whale.
I was surprised,
3/3.
honestly, when I saw this that it wasn't just Galaxy that it was a subtitle champion, because I thought this would be a pick which flavor of flippin' stuff you wanted.
Yeah, no,
No,
now.
But nope,
now
we get both.
Yep. We flipping both.
We flip both. You know who else
We
is
flip
flipping
and love
both? Keone. She's back with 2 of her champions. The first is Narpoon. He's a 4/2 for 1 water. You can Nexus a water or a frost. When this Narpoon receives 1 or more frost, you can special send it to a Waylance from your hand or deck. Old Waylance, by the way, really good. Used to, never thought of played.
Isn't
from
that
my
the
opinion.
one where when it kills their guy, you get to extract all the other ones from the deck?
Yep, sure is.
I put that in Justin's sideboard in his Schnark build.
Oh, you got me
It
with
was
a local.
you
Oh, you got
couldn't
me.
do it. Oh, you got.
That's why I know what the card does.
Oh, I made sure. I was like, this is pretty good.
Waylance saw playing that really rogue snowman's deck briefly, and it was every time it connected with somebody, it was like, oh, and now the game's going to end. What do you do about this? A chunk of your deck just got ripped out.
Yeah.
It was a funny side-in for, well, at the time, 5s was the deck. This was right before Moonrise, I think, when
Yep.
Schnark was legal.
Yep. From the Shattered Stars,
Yeah, from the Shattered Stars. And, it was just, oh, see you later, Viscerous. See you later, Spectre. It's like, bye!
So,
it's a funny card. But there's a new one here.
Want to know what the
It's like
new
two.
Waylance does, guys? So he's a
Yeah,
7/5, a water, and a frost. This Waylance deals piercing damage. When he declares an attack, you can Nexus up to 4 frost from any number of cards on your field to it. I don't know if this is actually good, but every one of us is gonna lose a game to this at some point.
So
What did that card? I need to read this card.
That card just said you can Nexus up to 4 frost. Yep, look at it. From anywhere around your field to this guy when he declares an attack. Oh, and he has piercing damage, so he's gonna smack in for 6.
you see,
Yeah.
what if I told you I was upset at unconditional piercing?
Um,
You ended the sentence, and I'm like, I'm sorry. There's no condition or anything.
Yeah.
Not like that makes me
I
upset or
wouldn't-
anything.
I
but,
would
like,
be-
Geez, that's a good card.
I would be worried about it if Glaciersa didn't already never do anything.
That's fair.
If Glaciersa had done anything, this would terrify me.
Well, just wait because things can change at a moment's
They're
notice.
about to change.
Trust me.
This is
That's
no,
still
this is
really-
different. Glacier. This is so much different. Like Glacier just does the piercing damage, shielded back to your hand. Okay, whatever. This, you declare your attack, you activate the effect. That's their window to shield or Gorgons.
Yep.
Right. There is no those after you put stuff on it.
And the big thing for me is that Narpoon summons it. Glaciersa, you needed to play the Ursa's Dens. You had to jump through some hoops. Narpoon will just find this for you.
And it's the
That's
turn
how
you
they do it.
play it because all you need is a bank for
Yep,
anything.
any Frostbank and away you go into Waylance.
Yeah.
Last water card. This one the internet is divided on.
Yeah, they are.
This is Harpy. They're a 2/3 for 1 water. Your Elestrals cannot be attacked except for this Harpy. When this Harpy is destroyed in battle, you can draw 2 cards if you have a Divine Rune on your field.
Interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. But no, I'm gonna say more actually. There's a lot of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that have that, and they're the kind of things where it's like, wow, I really wish I could attack that monster, but I really have to attack that one, right? Like Egyptian God Slime is like a very notable one, and card is not actually that good, but it's just you're drawing 2 when they have to.
Marauding
like,
Captain.
Yeah, Marauding Captain.
It was put on the list for that reason. It was put to 2 copies, so it didn't actually address the issue. But
I
it's
think,
less consistent.
I
doesn't
think
matter.
the one difference between God Slime and this guy's a 2/3, so they're probably just clearing him. You are getting the cards in that scenario, but I feel like in practice what happens is this guy's text actually reads, use the kill spell, the kill effect in your hand before running over the guy you wanted to run over in combat.
That still saves you
Maybe
a little bit.
a little bit.
I don't think it's going to be a staple. I think it's going to see funny play in a funny deck, but drawing 2 cards, if your opponent can't get rid of that with the kill spell, quote unquote, they're setting you up for your next turn and potentially the rest of the game because 2 cards can change that much.
You can also attack the Harpy into something.
Yeah.
If you're not going to
Yeah.
take damage from it, you can just draw 2.
Yeah.
Then it's like cardy at the end of it because like you're drawing 2, but then you have to pass.
Yeah.
There's no like main 2, but I mean follow up is follow up.
It's
Don't get me
fun.
wrong. I can read it. I think every one of these effects is strong. You know what my worry is? I can't in my head figure out where it goes. Like what deck is going. You know what I really need?
I
This
think
guy.
if you're playing foamy, you look at this card.
Yeah, as just an additional foamy
Yeah.
target for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it might be. It'll see either sideboard play in the Majesty deck, or not really much at
Yeah.
all.
Oh, 'cause-
Is where I think it is. I think it's an okay card.
It seems decent
But,
against 5s.
This
It,
card has the best
Yeah.
possibility, I think. Maybe other than some of the ones that we've talked about that like we think Majesty is broken. Like this is the one card that's like I'm not sure about it, but it has the absolute highest potential of the cards we've talked about. That all you are gonna put comments about. Oh, you didn't think Harpy was good, you idiot. I don't think it's not good, but I don't see its home. And if I'm wrong and it finds a home, it's gonna be a problem.
yeah,
Like-
it really is going to be a problem. It's one of those things. I think
Well-
now it'll see sideboard play. It is good
Oh.
against the beater big decks like Draculus is a good example.
You-
I think it's more Draco Ray, not
Draco
really
Ray,
Draco. Yeah, Draco Ray. That's pretty much just a lol. I have this big guy.
I don't know how many of those like
So
single bungus decks exist after the next format though, because when this set comes out,
Yeah, I think
I'm
you're
worried
right.
that all of these big bunguses are the ones that are going to see play.
Harvey would have seen a ton of
Oh, yeah.
play in Frostfall.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, foamy into Harpy would have been insane. But like,
Mm.
you could put that into play with Coastalith and have it like as a taunt kind of a deal.
This is
You
why he's the
still need
water guy.
you still need a divine rune in play at that point, but like
Yeah.
you're gonna draw the Poseidon.
Yeah. The
Like,
Coastalist. It gives Coastalist something to do that isn't below average at least. Like,
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the Thunder Pantheon, and Zeus is back bringing the thunder. First up is Elachik, champion of Zeus. He's a 3/1. When it declares an attack, you can give it +1 for each thunder enchanting each Zeus on the field until the next turn. That's everybody's Zeus's. That's all the thunders enchanting it. So it's kind of like old Elachik where it gets the buff with Zeus. Oh, I'm a 7 attacker. Could totally be. It ascends up into Grypheus, champion of Zeus, who's a 6/2 for a thunder and a wind. This Grypheus in your hand can special ascend from a champion of Zeus, but it must be played properly. You can't misenchant it. When you cast this Grypheus, you can give all of your opponent's Elestrals -3 attack till the end of the turn. And then Vol Tempest, the Gores of Elestrals has been found for our Yu-Gi-Oh fans. Vol Tempest, champion of Zeus, is a 14/7 for 2 thunder and 1 wind. When your champion of Zeus is destroyed in battle, you can special cast this Vol Tempest from your hand for his correct cost if Zeus is enchanted and you control no other Elestrals.
Whoa.
That is
That
sort
is-
of Gores.
Kind
If you squint, it's Gores. If you-
Trigodia.
Wait,
if you
can
squint, it's better than Gores.
Yeah, because you can control
is.
back row.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
If you squint, I think it's more Trigodia.
Could be.
Yeah.
It doesn't
fair.
summon a token.
Doesn't summon the
Yeah,
token.
but it's a token.
It does summon a 14/7 guy, though.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
killed their guy, and then I blinked, and there was a monster in play. A kaiju hit the field.
That's insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I can't wait for Kaiju's in this game.
No.
Oh, I can't wait.
Quickly, the Elachik feels like a
Your answer to Majesty, yeah.
Elachik and Grypheus kind of feel
Hit you with the water.
slightly mid or above. The Elachik is just a beater if you have Zeus's, around, which you should if you're, playing this deck. And Grypheus is like, again, just being able to come into play quasi for free, debuff their guys seems strong.
Can I out myself real quick?
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize Elachik was the little one. I thought Grypheus, it just started there.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
no.
realizing that now.
Yeah, no.
It
Nope.
never clicked.
Elichick is the guy.
Yeah, I just never clicked at all.
For those who like plushies, I've seen on the plushie the Elechick, the champion one, has a little thunderbolt scar on his eye, Harry Potter style.
No.
Zeus isn't done though. He's got a few more friends. This is Fulgary's champion of Zeus. He's a 3/3 for 1 thunder. You can disenchant a thunder from your Zeus in order to target and destroy a face-down rune. If you do, he gets +2 attack until the next turn. And then Titano Strike, who is low-key one of my sleepers for the set. He's a 4/4 for 1 thunder. When you cast him, you can search your deck for a thunderstorm and add it to hand. Thunderstorm gonna be broken. There's very few things pop face-up runes, and this one does. Divine's gonna be everywhere. This is what might make Thunder good again, along with 1 or 2 of the cards we'll talk about in a minute. But
I actually kind of liked original Titanic Strike, and this card bridges into that very well, actually. So
That's crazy.
That's really, really good. Yeah.
Wow.
That's yeah.
and the Fulgary's not
honest,
awful. I don't think he's great, but I think he's probably a playable card in that deck.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of those like dribbles. Like he's gonna hit the board, and I'm not gonna be too upset about it.
Yep.
But
There are situations where
going
it's
to
like,
be more.
Yeah.
they played
like-
Bulgaris that killed my face down. I had nothing left and I died.
Yep.
Yeah, there's going
Because
to
they
be times
both
where you
Tempest
might
in the
call
previous
Bulgarians
turn or whatever, and you
before
just
before
lose.
the end of the night.
Ugh.
But other than that, I don't think it's
No.
worried.
You know who's going to unfortunately cause people to get banned for saying slurs at their locals? Let me introduce you to the recently escaped from Tartarus.
My goodness
Sparkit.
gracious,
Sparkit's back, and he
no.
might be as good as ever. He's a 3/1 for 1 thunder. When you normal cast him, you can look at 2 random cards from your opponent's hand, up to 2, and discard one of them. Also, you can Nexus up to 2 thunder.
So that's
Yep.
that's Gust Kraken?
Oh yeah, it's
On a
it's-
1-drop.
It's great. He's still one of the best cards in the game after escaping Tartarus.
At least it's only on normal cast.
I
but
guess.
if that's the only decent thing about it, that's an insane
Wait.
card.
Wait till we get ways to return it to our hand and then double summon.
Are you saying like we get a Shadow Steps kind of card like freaking
Yeah.
Hearthstone? Oh my
Oh my
goodness, no.
I think that the thing that
that's
kind of like
crazy.
tickles my brain about these Thunder guys is they're all just decent value things in what looks like it's a meta that's pushing forward the game plan decks that might be bricky or swingy or high rolly. Like, I need to do this giant thing, and if I do, you're just gonna lose. This deck look like it's gonna be a pile of I just play good value cards, and I natively have a pile of Thunderstorms, which are the one out to every other deck.
And if it's not, I'm gonna rip your hand with Spark
Yeah.
It.
Yeah, like you can spark at them, you can again, and that's
Good.
not even talking about the cards that exist, right? Like Zeus
Yeah.
is maybe the best divine to begin with.
Mhm.
Elichick
is insane.
Elichick's at 1 for a reason. Like Astrabbit still exists.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
You better
Have
start
you read all-
fighting Glimbats.
And have you read Altar of Cards?
Glimbat wasn't actually like good because original Spark It they didn't look at your hand, right?
no, yeah, it was
It was a random.
the
card.
random card.
Random card.
No.
No,
You
you know, you
looked
looked.
at their hand and picked
You-
one.
yeah, no, it was.
Oh,
a pro-
Glimbat. Okay, yeah. Glimbat is going to be pretty good against this too, because it's just like after that, oh, you lost your Glimbat, but they've just got a 3/1 and they didn't randomly rip one. Like that, this card is really dumb, but Glimbat is actually.
Here's
gonna
my
see
worry,
some
though,
play,
about
I
with
think,
Glimbat.
It's good.
Can you afford a sideboard spot for basically just Spark It when Magices exist and the artifact deck exists, and this deck is really just trying to come at you over Thunderstorms? Like,
You absolutely can if this is going to be meta. If this is just a rogue deck, then there's no reason to do it because it's a rogue deck, and you might just lose to getting your stuff discarded, or you might just not. But if you do, and this is the meta deck, you gotta side them. I mean, look at the Yu-Gi-Oh meta right now. Everybody is siding Artifact Lancias because the top couple decks banish cards, and they have to.
my thought is that I don't know that this deck, to me, I don't know that it's like one of the best meta decks. What I think it is it's the new evolution of what Fives looks like. It's the value deck the heel stall, right, where they're trying to just force you into one for one card exchanges until they have the advantage in cards and a spirit or two, and it's like, well, now I just lean on the game, and your game plan has crumbled.
Well, yeah, because everything like Spark It interacts 1-for-1, Titano Strike interacts 1-for-1 while leaving a body, and it's good stats. If you have
4/4.
if you have the Mount Olympus in play, it's a 5/5,
Yep.
and you have Zeus to basically make it check anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, on top of that, you have Aster Rabbit, which gets you value when you play it. So like, I understand what you're saying. Like, it's one of those mid-range decks that's just like, oh, you're playing a cool combo deck. Can you actually play Elestrals?
I was really worried when I was reading a bunch of the spoilers as they were coming out in the videos that A-Drive was doing for this set, that the swingy high roll league game plan stuff was going to be just every deck in games would slowly be decided on who did or didn't high roll hardest. And then as I started reading some of these, I was like, oh, this is the built to check that. This is what they put in the game that says you can absolutely play your Blistrix combo, you can play your Majesty and turn stuff off, but if you have the audacity to draw a bad hand, this deck will run you over.
It's not going to be close either, because your cards are going to be so much worse than their cards at that point. It's going to be like when you play mono red in Magic the Gathering, like cons of Tarkir standard, and then you just get to turn 4, you watch them play a Siege Rhino, it's over.
Game's over.
It's
That's
absolutely over. There's
My
nothing you can do
favorite deck.
about it. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many cards you draw.
I-
You lost the tempo of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that really hard to recover in a game that's as fast as Elestrals.
I do really think that this is going to be the deck that checks everything. My problem is, look at the Lorcana meta, what happened with the deck that checked everything, or checked all the combo stuff, which was the green steel discard deck. Now, of course, there's not that many cards in this game. It's never going to get that atrocious in terms of discard, but it could just come down to a point where it's like, wow, that is the deck to play, and eventually green steel discard became the best deck to play. So hopefully we don't get to that point. We aren't at that point with these cards, but
I think the one difference, and it's a big difference I found, having played a bunch of Lorcana and then getting into Elestrals.
having played a bunch of green steel discard, actually.
In fact.
Yeah.
You degenerate.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's me. I opened Diablos. I'm sorry. I wasn't gonna not play them when I opened them. Anyway, Elestrals. The one thing that Lorcana is missing, and I'm not even gonna be like, oh, the other turn interaction, like, it is so hard to have your the play line you've decided on get in any way even just slightly disrupted, and everything kind of crumbles apart. There's no way in that game to just kind of like stop on a dime and pivot to something else. I think this game has more, so I don't think that this gets out of hand. I think it checks it causes those decks that are going to high roll, play the big combo game plan stuff. It causes them to have to lose sleep at night, because if you just run into this and draw a bad hand, you lose. But on the opposite side, if this deck draws a really bad hand, that deck can either high roll or on a piece of interaction pivot to, okay, this is the play line I have to take because they've sparketed me, or they have a thunderstorm. I can't play my divine now. Like,
I'm gonna add one more hot take here too. I think this Thunder package is what's going to replace half of the Lunar aggro deck as it stands. So it's going to be like Spark It, the Titano Strike, you play that, and you take it out, and then all of a sudden, normal cast Werepup, search Lunar Phase full.
we'll talk about what you're going to be doing with Werepup in a minute.
I do know what's coming up. I'm just mentioning this as it's going to turn into more of a control deck rather than an aggro deck, and I think that's really interesting.
My thought is just, you were talking about, like, when you said Werepup, I thought you were going to say Nobby, now that they have no back row, and just let Nobby do his little Nobby thing.
Oh, Nobby is still absolutely part of that deck. And Lake of Void, of course, is, a one of, and then Werepup is one of my favorite Elestrals, so that's probably what I'm going to be playing. Not to mention I just picked up those full arts from you, so, But yeah.
Anything, Sam? Or I'm gonna move on to the last two Thunder cards.
I will say the Spark It is definitely gonna make me approach deck building differently because I'm gonna try and mitigate as many atrocious hands as possible. Like, I know that I'm just gonna end up with like double Tsunami, double Poseidon, and I'm already mulliganed 3 times. Yeah. And I'm just gonna have to accept it. And then they turn 1 Spark It because they won the die roll, and I lose
game
one of my
was
Poseidon.
over.
And then I draw, and it's like Ultra Stars, so I expend to draw, but I'm already down like 8 spirits at that point.
Yep.
So I set cards, and then they Titano Strike me, and I'm like, okay, I'll chain Tsunami.
This deck feels like the one that can force decks to play into it what it wants to do.
Yeah,
instead of playing its own game.
That's the thing about like the mid-range decks in Magic the Gathering. It's like the aggro deck. I'm just gonna go over top of you because you're playing like small potatoes. And the control decks, I'm gonna go under what you're trying to do, which is achieve the late game. I'm gonna try and sneak in a little bit of, you know, pressure while accruing as much value as you are.
Yep.
Like it's always achieving equal footing no matter the opponent. Kind of like Warrior in Hearthstone.
Yeah, agreed.
I've got one more thing to say about Spark It actually I just thought of, and this is going to hopefully get some people into your comments section. Because Spark It looks like it could be a really good replacement for Asked Rabbit. One of the choices, you either play Rabbit or Spark It. You could obviously play both, especially in, you know, a Thunder deck. But say, oh, I don't want to look at the, you know, the top 3 of my deck, which, by the way, is really good. But I have seen people taking Asked Rabbit out of their decks.
Sure.
Playing Spark It could potentially let you see on turn 0 what your opponent is playing and how you can then alter your play lines right then and there to counter them. And that's where
hand knowledge we haven't seen since base set.
Well, exactly what I'm saying, where it's like you could do that, and it goes basically the exact same type of quote unquote +1 or +0 that Rabbit does, because you are still ripping a card from their hand.
You know what sounds crazy? Spark It, look at their hand, and then you see that they're on the water deck, and then on your next turn you play an Asked Rabbit, and you peel that Titano Strike or Thunderstorm because you know what you're playing against.
Yeah.
And Asked Rabbit got you that card that you didn't have before and wouldn't have for like 2 or 3 turns.
In the Thunder deck, you absolutely play.
Yeah, like if you're already playing Thunder, there's no reason not to.
Like,
you
could play Asked Rabbit in the Majesty deck, or you can also play Spark.
Is it possible that I hate to keep getting stuck on Spark It this long, but I mean, is it possible that this is decks, so you said, have been pulling the Asked Rabbits out? They're not all committed to you must play 3 Asked Rabbits in every deck. Is it possible that we start seeing Spark It's instead of I just play 3 Spark It's in my Water Earth deck? Or, hear me out, the people that are still playing the 3 Rabbits, well, now it's 3 of each and I only need 3 Spirits really to cover both.
Yeah.
Now I have a tiny Thunder pack instead of just 3 Rogue Rabbits.
That's what I'm trying to say, and not to mention Rabbits on receive. So So when you could also play both. You just have Rabbit, and then you play Spark It, and then you Nexus Spark It for Rabbit. You do it again. Just absolutely
guys,
insane.
I think I'm also building Thunder on day 1. I think that you talked me into it.
Honestly, I just looked at the hand rip effect. I didn't even know that it Nexus up to 2. You did say it because you read the entire card, but like,
also,
why can you
for no reason. Also, this card does this.
Yeah.
Toxion's gonna burn more. Oh my goodness.
Last 2 Thunder cards in this chunk, and guess what? They're a new Elestral. We have a new boy joining the party. This is Ankylo. He's a 2/4 for a Thunder. He gets +3 attack for each Earth enchanting it. When this Earth enchanted Ankylo deals damage to opponent, you can special send it into an Ankylo Surge from your hand or deck. Ankylo Surge is a 6/8 Thunder and Earth 2 cost. You can draw a card for each Thunder or Earth enchanting this Ankylo, then discard that many cards. I think these cards are probably wind up being mid, but also are good. They're very good cards, just as cards.
So it gets +2 for each Earth.
+3 for each Earth enchanting it. Yeah, he's a 5 if you get an Earth out of him.
So
yeah, he's a 5/4 if he's got an Earth.
No, it's the one you're looking at says Nexus. I think they
It's
only
not-
do
It's
wind.
not this one. Hang on.
You don't know about Titanus, right? Or the Nexus is a wind.
Yeah. Enchants.
Doesn't do the thing we want.
No.
That close.
I thought I had something. Yeah. Nope. I just misremembered what something said. It's all good.
Yeah, I think these cards are probably fine. I think they're good. Maybe they find a home somewhere. My guess is they probably wind up outside looking in.
I like Ankless Surge. That's an interesting card.
Why can't I think of the name of the Elestral? It's limited to 1 Earth.
Aquilynx.
Aquilynx. If Aquilynx ever comes back to 3, it's
Oh,
that
for sure.
deck.
Yep.
It's that deck.
Yeah, Earth Thunder Nexus is the best deck if Aquilynx ever came back.
But-
This card, I think, means Aquilynx can never come back.
Yeah, agreed.
That just ended any chance he had of coming back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because like you Aqualinks pop their stuff,
Rip
and then
guys.
you spark it, rip their hand, and then you
Yep.
Titanic Strike into Thunderstorm, and then you Earthquake them, and
Yeah.
it's just like the best deck in the game.
If you, this is, you know what this is?
Demeter and
This is
Zeus.
probably a card pair. Ankle-Surge, because you can special ascend into Ankle Shock, but only if he deals damage to opponent. So, like, it's kind of more difficult than just, like, kill a
Can-
guy, but maybe it isn't.
Does Scythe of Demeter give piercing?
Does not.
Oh, okay.
Just
I'm
the 2/3.
mistaking it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the outside looking in is probably the best way to
Yeah.
describe him. I think you're right.
All right, here we are. We're
Interesting.
on to the Wind Pantheon. This is the Champions of Aeolus. First up is Sorlet. Back at it again, this time with Aeolus. He's a 4/3 wind for 1 wind. When he destroys an Elestral in battle, you can search your deck for an Aeolus or a Champion of Aeolus and add it to your hand. But wait, there is more. Chrysor, Champion of Aeolus, who you can search with Sorlet, says he's a 7/3 for 2 wind. This Chrysor in your hand can special ascend from your Sorlet with a wind during your battle phase if that Sorlet destroyed an Elestral in battle this turn. So when that Sorlet kills a guy in battle, you can immediately nobby him into Doppelganger Chrysor.
This
What?
is Wind Nobby, which is really cool. The problem is it's just not as good.
It's slightly smaller.
Yeah.
It is, however, the Sorlet can also find Aeolus. It doesn't have to turn into. It
you're-
gives you something to do with the extra
You're
ones
right.
after you
It's
use
a
it.
bit-
It's also a
bit more
repeatable search.
Yeah,
Yeah.
repeatable
Because
search.
if we're entering a state of affairs where it's either you combo off and put a huge guy into play, or they interrupt you and you have small potatoes, it's very easy to run over Elestrals in battle at that point. It's kind of
Yeah,
like,
even with a 4. Yeah.
I mean, if you stop a play in Edison format and they have like a Plague Spreader left over and you normal Shura, that's crazy. And I mean, Sorlet can play a very similar tempo, sort of like repeatability search kind of game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no main phase 2 to take advantage of it, but like I said, follow up is follow up.
I think these two specifically are
the
good.
Chrysor synergy is hilarious. I really like that.
The Nobby has shown us that getting an extra attack with a 2 attacking thing
Yeah.
is just good.
So is there a way that we have the ability to make an Elestral attack multiple times?
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say no. Blazerus attacks multiple times, but not. I don't think that's what you're looking for.
All right.
The thing that I think with Sorlet right now is, by the way, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, you get 2 Sorlets on the board. You get the it's not Tower of Wind. It's the Island of Aeolus.
Mhm.
That turns into Sorlet being very good. Like, Nobby was good because he was a 4 that got over other things because he
Because
dumped everything down, and then got another guy that dumped everything down way more. And if you had the Temple on the board, that's when Nobby became extremely powerful. So if you're able to play the Sorlet as a 5, yes, it's really good.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I really do think it's kind of just
Okay.
I would almost rather play regular Sorlet first.
So I've seen some folks saying that this is new Pantera line. Like, instead of trying to run the Hydrake into die, then run something with Twindra, or run that into die to get Pantera, this is make the Sorlet big enough to run that thing to get this instead. Thoughts?
Yeah.
I think they're slightly different.
They are different, and I almost think the Pantera line might actually be better in that scenario.
All right.
Just because it can go way bigger with, I would only say just a little bit more commitment.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to commit quite a bit to get Sorlet big enough in order to compare it, essentially. Like, I mean, if you got to run over a rabbit, you got to get it to at least 6. And a lot of people are playing 5 booty things, especially with what we've already seen.
Yeah.
I really don't think that this is going to take off like you think it is.
Okay. Aeolus has got one more champion card. It's Galaxair. He's a 1/3 for a wind. You can add this Galaxair to your hand with your Aeolus. Well, I'm sorry. When you add this Galaxair to your hand with your Aeolus' effect, you can immediately special cast it for a wind.
This card is amazing.
I think it's probably good. Yeah.
Yeah. This card makes Aeolus real.
Wait, if it's added to your hand
With
by
Aeolus'
you
effect.
just get to cheat it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
No.
What?
Nope.
Bro. Why would you give us an extender that's so easy to extend with?
And not to mention, you can play 3
Everybody's
of this and 3 of the other.
trying to foolish burial stuff off of certain cards. Everyone's trying to play Smoltuga and stuff to search. Like, that requires your normal cast.
This might see play in Blistrix.
Yeah, that is an
I think it's
extremely good card.
The one problem with it is it requires to be added to your hand via Aeolus' effect. And I
Wouldn't
think
you be playing Hermes? Or something
Yeah,
like
at that point you're probably playing Hermes, not Aeolus. I think there's a variant of the Blistrix deck that isn't just slot machine, high roll, mill off the top and hope. And it's more calculated, and it's so that this could be in it.
I think Blistrix is going from Lightsworn to tier limits in this with this. It is going from, oh, I'm high rolling to, oh, my deck is only high rolls. Like, it's going to be calculated. It's going to be, yeah, I just have a way to get the thing out. They might just play 3 Aeolus, 3, is it Hermes? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They might just play 3 of each. Because, screw it. Oh, I need to be able to put my 2 drop down on turn 1, or if you're going second, it might actually be our first choice going second deck.
Maybe.
When we see it, we're gonna.
Yeah.
It could be a mix of, like, say, tier limits.
Blistrix is close to that already.
It really is, and that's when, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, you play Aeolus. No, I don't want to enchant anything more. Get the Galaxair. Okay, ascend there. The Blistrix doesn't have. It can. If you have a misenchanted, right? The Blistrix can still ascend on it. It
Yeah,
has
it's
the
the
name.
Blistrix's effect. Yeah.
Yes. So you can absolutely do that. Say you if you open Aeolus and Hermes,
Does it do that?
we can double check this.
Yeah,
we should
double check this
actually,
immediately before you make this point. But yes,
because it only blanks the text box. It still has the name.
I just want to make sure that it doesn't say if you have one enchanted on your field. If it says that, it won't work.
You're right.
Blistrix says, nope. Just says you can special send your Asprowl to it. Does not say it has to be properly enchanted.
We
Does not have to
know
be
this
enchanted.
ruling works exactly like this because Viserys, you can put a water on your Viserys. Is it Viserys or Viserys? I guess it doesn't matter.
We'll go with yes.
Bug.
Nope. Too
It
many
will
of
still
those.
get a +1 for a misenchanted Viserys on the field. So
Yeah, the properly enchanted one will see the
the misenchant. So yes, this will definitely see play because if you just open exactly Hermes and Aeolus, you have guaranteed a Blistrix. It is
And an
sorry,
Asprowl.
you need to open an Asprowl as well.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if you open those 3 cards, you have a guaranteed Blistrix. It is search the Galaxair, get the Galaxair, ascend into the Asprowl. Don't bother putting anything
You were
on there.
talking
Get
a
the
lot of
Hermes.
spirits to get that Blistrix play. Not that that's not what the Blistrix deck already does, but that is a lot. Yeah, I mean you're
It's
talking.
only 2 more. You only need to put 1 in on each of those divines.
Yeah, but then, I mean, but you're gonna put more than that because you don't want to lose them right away. You don't want to turn
So it's-
4 cards in your hand into just a Blistrix, right?
So it's 4 more, and you're not expending for that in Avalanche. So in reality, it's 2 more than normal. It doesn't matter. It's calculated
you also
guaranteed.
don't hit
There's
Speeder
no
Swords
chance.
that way.
That's fair. Yeah, and then you don't have the Blistrix
That deck is
ability. Either
playing
way.
Cedar Sword, like as a supporter. Like the deck we're talking about, the wind version of Blistrix is not even playing the Cedar Sword.
No. Yeah,
They're
like I
out.
said, this is very calculated, very tenpai, if you will.
Mhm.
It is.
And for that reason, I think it might not work right.
I think that you might that. Yeah,
And I'm gonna move us on to the Champions of Hermes. I apologize. There are 5 of these, and I'm gonna read them all at once because they all go together. And I have one easy take on all of them. And I think it plays into what you're talking about with this Blistrix, kind of a more calculated, put the thing into play deck. All right, so let's talk about Carrion, Champion of Hermes. He's a 3/1 for 1 wind. When he's sent from your deck to the underworld with your Hermes effect, which is what Hermes does, sends a wind to your underworld, you can special cast it from your underworld using a wind from either your spirit deck or your underworld.
No.
Yep, pitch
No.
him, boom, free summon. It gets better.
No.
Carry off is an 8/2 for a Lunar and a wind. Sorry, I'm just gonna move this here. You can shuffle an Elestral in your underworld into your deck. When this carry off is sent to the underworld with Hermes effect, you can target an Elestral, expend spirits equal to the number of enchanting spirits on that card, and destroy it.
What?
Cockatoodle. I know there's 5 of them, but trust me. Cockatoodle, Champion of Hermes, is a 4/1 for 1 wind. When this Cockatoodle is sent from your field or deck to your underworld, you can suppress a card on the field until the next turn. Hermes will make him do that.
That doesn't target.
Does not target, yep. Dracodoodle, Champion of Hermes, a 6/2 for 2 wind. When a Cockatoodle is sent to your underworld, you can special cast this Dracodoodle from your underworld with 2 wind. So if you already got him there, you send the Cockatoodle, you suppress a guy, you can special summon this one. You may only play 1 Dracodoodle this way each turn, and he gets +2 for each suppressed card on the field. So he comes out as an 8 attacker with the Cockatoodle.
From the graveyard.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Last is Exaltair, Champion of Hermes. He's a 3/1 for 1 wind. This Exaltair cannot be destroyed in battle the turn you special cast it from your underworld. While your Hermes is enchanted, he gets +3 attack, making him a 3 attacker. Here's
6 attacker.
a 6 attacker, sorry. So, every one of these cards reads very good, or, reads good to busted. Here's my problem. I think every one of them is just a more expensive version of something else you can already be doing. I think, maybe this is a hot take, maybe it's not, because the internet's pretty split on Hermes. I think, and I'm willing to be completely wrong, because I really like the idea of sending a Blistrix or doing stuff with this Exalter or killing stuff with Carry Off. I think this deck might actually be bad. Just actually not even mid, just bad. I think it's trying to do it's trying to do so many different things, and every one of them are things that you could just play X, or you could just do this instead, or just play this other play line.
These are not going to see main board play.
Interesting.
These are going to see sideboard play in decks that are already playing Hermes. Carry off with the exception probably being at least a 1-up in main board. Like, this would be a very interesting card, say, in the new Blistrix. No, it doesn't matter which Blistrix version you're playing. The new Blistrix is going to be playing Hermes. That is a guarantee, no matter what deck, I think. Like, no matter which Blistrix deck you're playing, I think you're playing Hermes.
Mm-hmm.
Which means you could play at least 1 carry off in the main deck, or even up to 3, because it is still getting sent. It doesn't. Well, it's only off of your Hermes, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
It'll be a 1 of them. The others, say Cockatoodle specifically, that one is going to be a sideboard piece, and all of a sudden Hermes becomes this game's triple tactics thrust. Where
Interesting.
Actually, I do have the out to your thing. That's what I think these cards are going to do. They are not going to be a deck yet.
Yeah, I want to get to Sam, but real quick on that is that where you're either playing the Hermes natively and some stuff already. If not, is that package just too big though? I know we have 15 card sideboard, but like you might be looking at a 12 card package you're trying to move in and out. and does that disrupt a non-Hermes centric deck too much that it doesn't do what it's supposed to do anymore?
I think it probably could. So obviously this one is
Carry on.
different, right? Carry on is a little bit different. This one is like, yeah, I can at least special ascend stuff. This might see one of play in a Hermes centric deck, say like the Hermes Blistrix deck. Carry off, same thing. We'll see a one of play. This one could see sideboard play for
Cockadoodle, Dracodoodle?
I don't even know if you would do this one necessarily.
The Dracodoodle?
Because, yeah, I don't think you would take the Dracodoodle. Sorry, I am. You guys can't see this.
You guys
but
can't see our screen. Yep.
The Cockadoodle definitely could be just a one of in the sideboard for, oh well, I gotta out this galaxy. And you know,
But
because they have
couldn't we just be
stuff
playing
like that.
that's what I'm saying though, like couldn't we just be playing cards that are more generically good against more things that like I feel like all of their applications are the same cost as things but more narrow in application.
They have, yes, I agree. However, you don't have to draw these.
Yeah.
So it's a searchable thing in a deck that could already search it to begin with. And that's why you see things like, you know, one-ofs in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, oh, I only need one of that. Say I'm playing a card at 1 that is at 3 and also an amazing card right now just because, oh, I contribute it from my deck and I get benefit from it, so I only need one of it. It's going to be kind of the same way, and I think we're going to start seeing one of picks because of cards being able to be searched out and special cast from deck and areas like that.
Same way, if you're playing the Garnet and Yu-Gi-Oh! Tell me about these Hermes Garnets. What do you think of them? Yep, I agree.
Not worth.
No.
No, I wouldn't spend my foolish burial on that. Maybe the carry off, but that is a terrible card to draw ever. So like,
yeah, no, I'm only saying that these are going to see any play in already a Hermes deck. Like,
I don't ever want to imagine wasting a sideboard slot on Cockadoodle. That sounds so bad. Like, I'd rather play Dense Fog.
I so agree.
I'm already looking to play carry off in this deck, so I don't mind the Lunar Spirit because Lord knows I'm going to draw that. I'll just play Dense Fog.
The thing to note about Cockadoodle is it does not suppress Elestrals on the field in the way that Dense Fog does.
And by the way, it does suppress
a
card
on the field.
You can just play the Artemis if you want to do that. And that's a Nexus thing.
Fair.
Yeah, like I said, I'm unimpressed with them, but I'm willing to be wrong. And internet, come for me in the comments. Tell me why Sam and I are idiots about Hermes.
Maybe I'm just looking too far into it, but like
I think Hermes is crazy.
The only one that
will we ever
carry on because you just get a guy off of your Hermes and that's value. That's the most value I saw. All the others are like
carry off is pretty good too. That's PTA on command.
It's not worth drawing that card.
We have our first full team disagreement, and I can't wait.
Yeah,
Put in the comments down below.
Imagine drawing
when you come back to this video to rewatch our predictions about how good these cards are, and make fun of whichever one or two of us are wrong.
Everybody knows Dinosaur YGO is right.
Does that carry off only trigger when it's milled?
It only triggers when it is sent by Hermes.
The carry off, not the
carry off by Hermes specifically.
Yeah, I never want to draw that card ever in my life.
Yeah, no, I'm like I said, I'm willing to be wrong, but I'm unimpressed by them. All right, we got a couple more win guys here. Next up, hey guys, Nimbug, Sharkoon, and Flammoth are back, but they're not champions. They're the same, just named cards as they were before with brand new shiny effects. Nimbug, your 1-wind 2/1 guy. When you normal cast this Nimbug, you can search your deck for a Foloi Forest, a Sharkoon, or a Flammoth and add it to your hand. Note, there is a new Foloi Forest that we'll get to as well, but Sharkoon is a 2/6, 1-wind, 1-fire to cast, and it counts as a Siracoon as normal. You can Nexus up to 2 spirits in any combination of wind and fire. When this Sharkoon is destroyed by an opponent's rune effect, That opponent must expend spirits for each spirit that was enchanting this Sharkoon. So he's got a little burn effect if you don't kill him with an Elestral.
Sorry, just really quick. I'm sorry. Does this card always counts as? Is that the same thing as Yu-Gi-Oh's where it affects your deck building?
No.
All right, good. That makes this better.
And then lastly is Flammamoth, and 8/4, 2 wind and a fire. Your opponent's Celestrials get -1 attack and -1 defense for each Nimbug or Sharkoon in your underworld. You can destroy a full life forest on your field. If you do, destroy all cards on the field except this Flammamoth.
That is kind of crazy. I'm going to assume that the new foil. I haven't seen it.
I was gonna
Is
say,
it
let me
going to be-
just real quick. I will jump ahead for just this once. The new Foloy Forest is a 1-fire stadium called Foloy Forest Burning Woods. Opponents must also expend 2 spirits in order to play a stadium rune.
I was really hoping that we were going to see a Fire King Island, like when it gets destroyed, and it combos with the Flammamoth. That say, like when it gets destroyed, you may cast any number of Nimbug or Charcoons from your underworld. Nope. We can't.
So
Please give
that
Insecto
full
its
is
better
that full life
support.
forest?
Oh, you're gonna see it.
That full life forest is not stadium card, right?
It is a stadium.
Yeah.
Just play eruption if you're looking for a burn card.
Yeah,
fire.
this,
I'm
this
sorry.
entire
like,
chunk of things doesn't seem any good to me. Moving along.
It does it have relevant names for Arachne's lair?
I don't believe so. Let's while we covered the one stadium, let's do the other one. This is Arachne's Lair, 1 fire stadium. When any player casts Warmite, Frostmite, Kitemite, Flarearachne, Polarachne, or Pararachne, that player must draw a card.
Are any of those names
Nope.
any of the following?
Nope. None of the Flammamoth line is
Oh.
included there.
Okay. What is this next?
You know who is though? Let me tell you who's on that. Kitemite, who,
Yeah.
by the way,
I love this guy.
you can find in your current OP3 Series 3 cards that are out. Won't be legal till June 1st, just like the rest of these cards, but you can find them early, and the art's really good. Kitemite is a 1/4 for 1 wind. You can disenchant a wind from this Kitemite in order to special cast a Warmite or a Frostmite from your deck.
Good card.
I love that with Arachne's lair.
Mm-hmm. Yep, specifically with that. His Ascension, Pararachne, the parachute spider, is a 6/5 for 2 wind and can be normal cast with 2 wind if Arachne's Lair is enchanted. Arachne's Lair has their own lith, but it's a bug.
You see, the thing about this is because of its condition to be normal cast, you'll draw a card after playing it.
Yep.
That is insanely good.
Pararachne is, in my opinion, the only reason that I didn't completely write the Arachne's Lair deck off.
Yeah, it actually has.
Yeah.
It has
legs.
its own lith
Yeah,
This card's
very
crazy
good.
Yeah.
in one specific deck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But I mean, it that's the thing. Like cards like that should be like for one deck, and it fills the role that it needs to fill.
Sure. No, I don't disagree. I think this is a very well designed card, and I'm waiting to lose a bunch of games to it in the future.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get destroyed by it. Me too. Don't worry.
Next up, we've got a pair of Champions of Keon. The first is Urscout. We've got another Ursa Bear. He's a 2/4 for 1 frost. You can target a face down rune. It cannot be played as long as this Urscout is enchanted. This effect can be activated 1 additional time on your turn if you also disenchant a frost from your Keon.
That card's hilarious.
Whoa.
This card stinks. Sorry, it just does.
I don't think it's amazing. I think it's hilarious.
Bears are always, because they need to proc don't poke the bear a lot. They are afraid of runes. So like I see why it's in there, but I just don't buy it. We have cards that do this already. Chilatl does this. This is bad.
Yeah.
Alright. Sam, anything or agreed bad?
I like that it's like as long as it stays on the field, like as long as it's enchanted, but I
Yeah.
mean it's not gonna stay on the field.
Yeah. Alright. Brummelinx, the champion of Keon, slightly better, is a 4/2 for 1 frost. When you cast it, you can search your deck for a Mountains of Boreas or a Blizzard and add it to your hand. I love all of these cards that search for their specific stadium or some other card in their archetype.
Yeah.
Love every one of them.
That's awesome.
Searching Blizzard is really stupid.
Remind me what Blizzard is again.
Blizzard is a 2-cost invoke frost that destroys a face-down rune but cannot be chained to when it's activated.
Oh,
This is
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah.
be,
This
I
card
think
might
we-
go in ballistics.
as a
In that control deck, you're talking
as a
controlled
one,
ballistics.
either as a 1 or a 2 of, and it's going to make Infrostrix more of a 3 of rather than a 1 of search.
Oh, because that's when you cast this thing. Not
It's when you
normal
cast. You
it.
might be able to bring that from your underworld with Infrostrix, and then grab a blizzard, and then out something
Interesting.
right then and there,
Okay.
and then ascend into your Asprowl and go about your day. That's going to be that.
But
deal.
I can do you one better maybe. What instead of doing that, what if instead you play Frigicub, also not a champion, so it's going to share a space with the old Frigicubs, a 4/3 for 1 frost. His effect is you can return a blizzard from your underworld to your hand.
Same kind of deal.
What?
It's actually Frigicub is actually probably the better card in that scenario.
But wait,
Interesting.
there is more. Chivalror, the 2 Frost Ascension of Frigicub, is a 7/5. You can expend a Frost in order to special cast a Frigicub from your underworld with a Frost. When you cast Blizzard, you can target and destroy an Elestral.
Blizzard can't be chained with counter runes, right?
Correct.
But that
You cannot
happens
change
on.
to its activation.
But that happens on resolution of the Blizzard,
Yeah.
so they can respond to that. But
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
Is
yeah,
there a
that's
cool little put
sweet card.
Blizzards don't let your opponent have back row and now I'm doing all this cool stuff to you deck? Is that part of
You get Cryoblast.
yeah?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you
Maybe.
automatically cry. Is this what the Morfrost deck is finally trying to use all of its advantage engine to do? Is this the other half of that to do something?
That's a very good point. I always kind of forget about the Morfrost stuff when I talk about Blistrix. And by the way, I don't actually play Blistrix. I just know it. Because another one of our play group, well, 2 other people now play Blistrix, which, there you go. And my boyfriend Justin, so I see that.
We see it a lot.
I see it.
We see it a lot at our
I know
local.
a bit about it.
Tough.
But, whereas you don't play the Morfrost stuff in your build.
I don't.
Justin does, and he swears by it too.
And
I
I don't.
see a little bit of, you know, I definitely see a little bit of like,
Yeah.
that being on the Morfrost side of things, where Blistrix just isn't a part of that deck.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be really, really.
Yeah, what if it's a Frost control deck as compared to trying to use that
I-
to make your Blistrix high roll easier, and instead you're just, I'm using all of these control advantage cards with more Frost.
I am still waiting for a control deck to re-enter our meta. We had it in like the very beginning of Frostfall and kind of fell off as 5s took forward.
Yeah, fives has always been the closest thing we've really had to just a full control deck. Nothing.
It's not
nothing
even a
strangled
control
it.
deck. It's just a good card wins deck,
Yep.
honestly.
It's good
Whereas
stuff,
like
fine.
I do want to see a full blown control deck. I mean, that was what I always played. Everything going up. I mean, even one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes is a trap card deck, which is Altergeist, right? Like it is just. I want to see a real control deck, and I think Morfrost, Chivalror style could actually
Maybe.
be the seed. To
I think it at least deserves looking into.
Yeah.
Sam, anything on these guys before I move us on to the last 3 Frost guys?
I really like that they work with Blizzard because like Blizzard's just a great individual card on its own.
I swear by it, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy like Elestrals that interact with back row specifically because there's very few of them. surprisingly.
Very few good. Yeah, there's a bunch that
because
try
like
to do weird, but
Equilix,
not.
it's just like banned
Yep.
basically. Like it might as well be banned.
3 more Frost cards, and these are kind of cool. They're also another new Elestral Ascension line added to the game. First one is Bunnix, who's a 4/4 for a Frost. You can expend a Frost in order to search your deck for up to 2 Nixameras, then send 1 to your underworld and add the other to your hand. The next card is Nixamera Risen Form. The Risen Form is a 7/4 for a Frost and a Solar. You can expend Solar in order to target and destroy a face-down rune. During your end phase, you must either send this Nixamera to your underworld or special ascend it to a Nixamera Fallen form from your hand, deck, or underworld. See where we're going?
Yeah.
Nixamera Fallen form.
Wait.
is a 4/7.
Wait. Huh?
During the end phase, you either
Must either send it.
destroy it or special ascend it to the fallen form from hand, deck, or underworld.
Oh, I misread that. My brain heard special ascend it from underworld. And I was like, wait a minute, what is going on?
The this Nixamura fallen form is what you're going to ascend onto it from the underworld.
No. I thought it was risen form ascending onto something that is in the
Gotcha.
underworld.
No, the other.
Yeah, that okay.
So fallen form is a 4/7, 1 frost and a lunar. He cannot be targeted by invoke runes, and during the end phase, either destroy him or special ascend him to a Nixamura risen form from your hand, deck, or underworld. So they continue. So obviously, you put Bunix into play. You put the Nixamura risen in your hand, the fallen in your grave, in your underworld. Play the risen form, and then for the rest of the game, they swap each other's places every turn as long as you can keep one in play.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's just night and day. Nobby doesn't handle them.
Yep.
What
Nobby doesn't kill them.
about Gorgon's Gaze?
Gorgon's Gaze will mess these guys up. Yeah, because you can't ascend guys with Gorgon's Gaze.
Anything that suppresses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, and to the
It's an
a
interesting
lot of the
lineup
suppression
cards.
things
I like
don't deal with solar and lunar.
Right, that's fair. I like
Harmony's
the.
been cockadoodle trumps those.
I really like the flavor on it. That's hilarious.
Boo.
It might be worth the sideboard slot if these are playable.
No.
You're right. These are hilarious cards. I like them in the sense that it's like very funny flavor wise. You know, like you wake up, you go to sleep, and then you wake up.
These are the absolute coolest cards in the set, and they're dog water bad.
Yeah. Oh, they could have been so good. They could have just been good.
Why do they have like one ability?
Maybe I'm wrong. Some folks online really like them. Maybe I'm wrong. I
really,
think they're
really
bad.
enjoy the art.
Oh, the art's fantastic.
Oh yeah, no.
The
they're beautiful.
giant
idea.
floof that is the fallen form is the greatest thing ever.
The idea of this is also really, really cool too. And
Yeah.
I hope they do something like that in the future.
It's a cool mechanic I wouldn't mind seeing them try out again.
I mean,
We
they're
got a new Sobble Sostex line. Wow.
Yep. Okay, so there are 4 champions of Apollo, the only 4 solar cards we're going to deal with right now. First one is Soul Bell, champion of Apollo. He's a 1/4 for 1 solar. While this Soul Bell is foretold with your Apollo's effect, you may special cast it for a solar. Soul Stocks, 2 solar 6/6.
Yeah.
When you cast it, you can search your deck for a Soul Bell and put it on top of your deck. Oh, interesting. You can also expend 1 solar in order to return a divine rune to its owner's hand. Something that we, don't have a good way to deal with divines.
got,
Before
no,
we do
no,
these,
Sure,
no,
okay.
no, no.
Yeah, let's talk about the cows.
This is mid-chain interactive.
Well, no, it's not, because it'll create a spot in limbo and create a new chain on its.
It's while it's foretold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you special cast it, and then when you're done resolving the foretelling, a new chain happens, and then your opponent can respond to the cast.
No. I understand that. It's
okay.
It's still just that's. It's interesting. I just want to point that out. That is mid effect. It's not necessarily mid chain. It's mid effect. Like.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's not a lot of things that do that in game. The warp up into Like a Void comes to mind as something that like.
The cock array also operates that way.
Yeah, Cockeray also.
With the first light.
Yeah, solar
This
players
is
know
gonna
how to do this.
This is going to be an interesting deck. I really like the Soul Stocks because it bounces your own Divine Rune, and since they're all like once per copy, resetting Apollo to foretell again, that's pretty good.
Or
Yeah,
just
no, that's crazy.
taking advantage of an opponent who over committed
Yeah.
to full send on my thing, peel 1 off to do an effect, and you're like, okay, bounce that 4-cost thing back to your hand, like lose those spirits. I think these might be good in the Wind Djinn into Tornadjin solar deck.
I get that.
Yeah, absolutely. I still just want to. It's
Uh-huh.
not. It doesn't act like the stuff like the first light stuff. The foretell is already resolving, is what I
Mhm.
mean. And then you get to go. Oh yeah, by the way.
That's fair.
And then you resolve your foretell. So you don't get to like foretell it and then be like, okay, I want to put him back like this. By the way, now on res, cast it. It happens when you do it. So
Well,
it's like
I think it's like you
No,
foretell the cards.
I disagree. It's going to create a
You-
limbo mechanic.
I'm not saying it's not going to. I'm saying it's just that foretell is already resolving, whereas like with the first light stuff, first light doesn't have to resolve in order for you to do the Drake
Right, because
stuff.
it's the
chained
Drake
to it.
the Cockray stuff specifically says when you activate,
Yes.
not when it's.
I think it's
I'm-
like when you're resolving a foretell, you just take the soul bell out of there. Just be like separate.
Imagine if you activated Pot of Prosperity, revealed 6, and then played a card from Pot of Prosperity, and then chose the card to put in your hand, and then put it back on bottom. That's what this card is doing.
That it is eliminating one of your choices, yeah, but it isn't. In your example, it would be these are my 6 for Pot of Prosperity. I am this. My Soul Bell's effect triggers. I'm choosing this card. I get this back. He creates a limbo new chain, put it into play.
regardless of how it actually works, because I'm sure that it's just gonna like A Drive will explain it, but like the interesting card.
Yeah, I think these are
Guides
interesting.
for free
It's
are
interesting,
always
yeah.
good,
No,
and
I'm only bringing
easy
this. I'm not saying
access.
it's good because of that. I'm bringing this up as this could potentially be a problem in the future with if cards get worded like this, or if they start doing things like that in the future.
It's only a
with
problem
things
if
like that,
cards
so.
don't get worded like this in the future, and they get worded in some other way that
I
actually.
think, yeah, I think you're saying the same thing, but yes, that's correct. It's the as long as they're consistent about the way they word things, it'll
Yeah,
be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other 2 champions of Apollo are Exaltus. He's a 3/2 for a solar. When an Elestral on your field is destroyed in battle, you can special cast this Exaltus from your hand with a solar, and it gets +3 if you foretold this turn. So it would be a 6/2 attacker. Plucky, champion of Apollo, is a 1/3 for 1 solar. When you normal cast this Plucky, you can search your deck for a Lyre of Apollo and add it to your hand. When you cast a solar rune, you can return solar from your underworld to your spirit deck.
Can we talk about this art though?
For Plucky or for
For
Exaltus?
Plucky.
I think they're both really
Plucky
good.
is so cool.
looks
I actually don't
amazing,
really like the humanoid style, Elestrals. I think I share that opinion with A Drive, but some people do. So
I don't love him. I really this guy looks like Exaltus looks like a superhero. Look at this
Yeah.
guy.
I do agree.
It looks
with you.
amazing,
It looks
yeah.
really cool. But yeah, I really like this Plucky art.
He's cute for sure.
But yeah,
All right, on to the Lunars.
I'm excited about
And
that.
let me we're gonna cover the first 2, and I've got a maybe it's a spicy take, but I don't think so. Werepup, champion of Artemis, is a 3/2 for a Lunar. You can special ascend this Werepup to Lycovoid from your hand or deck if an opponent has at least 2 suppressed cards. When this Werepup is destroyed in battle, you can suppress a card on your opponent's field until the next turn. Lycovoid, champion of Artemis, is a 6/5 for 2 Lunar. When you cast this Lycovoid, you can special cast any number of Werepup from your deck with Lunar suppressed. You can destroy a suppressed Elestral on your field. If you do, destroy a suppressed Elestral on an opponent's field. So, here's the problem. Just because they're suppressed, will they continue to always be suppressed?
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I'd
permanent
imagine.
suppressed.
I'd imagine as long as they were summoned, as long as they were cast in that by that effect, they will be suppressed as long as they continue to be that same game object on the field.
Yeah.
Is there a way
To unsuppress.
unsuppress them? Even still, regardless of, I think that our old Werepup that searches for the full moon, realistically, I think he's got to go to 1. Because this Lycovoid will summon 6 dudes. Not that you have that much space, but
I get that.
too many. And if you can find a way to cycle them about, all of a sudden you've got a bunch of Lycovoids in play off of a singular full moon. Plus, Papa suppressed Elestral, which is what he's giving you, to
Yeah.
pop an opponent's suppressed Elestral, which the original Werepup gave you.
And you could
I
play.
think these
You
cards
could
are
play.
really good.
You could play Artemis as well if you really want to force it.
Yeah.
I think they're really, really good.
I like these a
I-
lot. Yeah, those are
I
some nice cards. Nice additions to the Lunar phase.
I
deck for
don't
sure.
know if it necessarily complements the old line.
I don't think it needs to
It doesn't-
complement the
it
old
doesn't
line. I
complement the
think it
Lunar
needs to
phase
give
stuff
you
as much
something.
as unless there's a way to unsuppress them.
It-
If there's a way to unsuppress them, then
Well, I don't
that-
think you
it needs to
need.
go,
I don't think
but-
there needs to be a way to unsuppress them in all reality. Like there's still bodies on your board.
Still bodies.
no.
Yeah,
I'm not
like-
saying that they're not good.
Right.
I'm just saying like
I
they
don't think
they don't complement the deck, so they're going to be something different.
It's
in my
something.
opinion.
It's something that you can do aside from just putting a big bungus into play. It's going wide.
These cards I knew about way before coming into this video because I talked about them with Justin, and to be honest, I wasn't as impressed as you guys are with these. I like them. I think they're really good cards. I don't think they're as good as
I
we're making
think
them out to
that
be.
well, see, my thought is I don't think that while I agree they don't necessarily strictly complement the old line. I think the old line accidentally complements these, which are really good already.
Yeah. No, that is fair because you do just ascend it into a like a void. You don't
Yep,
have to
you can
ascend
pull
it
this
to
one.
the old like a void. You can do it with that. So that this could be really, really. I don't like the Werepup as much as I like the like a void. The like a void is a
Agreed.
guaranteed play in the old line.
Mhm.
The old line isn't a guaranteed play if you're trying to do the Champion of Artemis Werepup line, which is
The suppression
the
stuff.
suppression deck, and that's
The multiple
you know.
suppressions also another thing to think of about with the Like Void summoning a couple of Werepups that are all suppressed. Necrolith, does he just requires suppressed cards on the field, correct?
yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden Necrolith
The-
is live.
The thing
if
is,
that's the
does this
case.
say as many as you can, or just
From your deck, any number of
Yeah,
Werepup.
you can get as many.
oh,
as
so you can
want.
you can drop you
Three more guys
you can
immediately.
drop two and then drop a
Yeah.
Necrolith maybe does see some play.
Yeah. You see,
No,
you
this
go-
like a void is absolutely correct,
Old-
especially with the 5 defense.
old Werepup gets the full moon that turns it into this Like a Void, which immediately summons, on the next turn, summons this Like a Void, pops 2 more Werepups into play that are suppressed. You dump Necrolith in play, nuke one of their guys, Like a Void effect, nuke another one of their guys, attack for 5. Feels good. Feels excuse me, it's more because there's a lunar phase in here. Attack for 7 seems
Yeah.
good.
No, that's easily the combo, and I think that's really, really good. I don't know if the old Werepup is going to see a spot in that deck though, or no, the new Werepup.
The new
I
one.
mean. Yeah. I don't think
I
the
don't
Werepup
think
is
you-
going to see a spot in that deck, but
I
I
think-
absolutely think Like a Void might even be played at 2.
I think it does, just because, God forfend that you run out of Werepups. I think it's a 1 or
Oh,
2
because
of
it's a
just
name.
as
That's
extra
what you're
Werepups
saying.
that you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
dump. You play 2 of
Sam's
these.
the namesologist, so
Yeah, probably like a 3-1 package because you're only ever getting 2 names likely
Yeah.
anyways. I
My-
mean, if you draw a Werepup, you still
My
have
head
3
was-
left in the deck.
My head was 3-2, and you hope that you get both of these off of the Like a Void. You don't
Yeah.
have to take any of the good ones out of your deck.
the
You can
other
just
thing
pop
is
these ones.
this is actually really good to do on your opponent's turn as well.
Mhm.
Even if they, because if you go first turn, Werepup, and then set, you can just activate that. You go into the Like a Void, and you just summon all 3.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? They're going to attack over one of them, and then your Necrolith is still live. Or if they don't attack over one of them, your Necrolith is live to just ascend over one of them anyways.
Well, think
So it's just one of those like,
and
it's-
if you're a
it's-
skilled
it's
gamer,
really, really good.
you can double ascend over 2 of the Werepups. Throw a Solar Spirit on there.
Yeah, Parageist is suddenly just way live again.
It all comes back
Yeah.
to Parageist.
Like,
Everything
how about
goes
this?
back to
Parageist, if you just summon a Like a Void with the original, with the new Werepups effect, to get this Like a Void in play, you didn't have the full moon. You now once again have another way to just slap a Pharaohgeist into play the same way that we used to with just put a full moon on any guy and then slap it into Pharaohgeist. Like,
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Some more
another
Champions of
collectible
Artemis,
card.
2 more of them. Pandolence is a 4/1 for 1 Lunar. When one or more Elestrals become suppressed, or when a player plays an Elestral who is suppressed, an opponent must expend 1. So, this
Oh,
Legaboid
so,
will immediately burn them for a bunch.
Yeah, that's kind of
Spectress,
cool.
Champion of Artemis, is a 4/2 for Lunar, who can be special cast from your hand for a Lunar if an opponent has at least 1 suppressed card.
It's interesting. I don't think it's as good as original.
I don't think it's as good as original, but the fact that you can special cast a 4 cost.
Free guys
four-
are
four
free
meter.
guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
Again, we're talking this Necrolith package, like just any suppressed guy in play, drop your opponent's got a suppressed card in play, boom, drop him, immediately send the Necrolith. You couldn't get the second one.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Here's another couple cards that are available in your champion or your tournament pack 3s. This is Nemastar. He's a 1/4 for a Lunar. You can Nexus up to 2 Lunar. An Elestral that receives Lunar this way can attack opponent's Spirit decks directly this turn.
ooh,
And Terrastar, who's a 5/7 for 2 Lunar. You can Nexus up to 3 Lunar. When a player nexuses and a... Let me try that one last time, guys. You can Nexus up to 3 Lunar. When a player nexuses, an opponent must expend 1 spirit for each spirit that a card received in that nexus. You're moving all those extra spirits from your full moves around, burning in the process. You can attack directly with your thing that you slap them all on with Nemastar. Like,
Wow.
I like these cards a lot. I specifically like Nemastar a lot more than I like Terrastar.
Sure.
But, yeah, no, I like these cards a lot. I like Lunar cards in general, but this one is really, really interesting. I don't know if it's like a 3 of index, but it's cool.
I like it. If its stats were inverted and it was a 4/1, I think it's a awesome card because it's a 1/4. My guess is it sees next to no play.
I think I'm gonna have to agree.
yeah.
Although,
Yeah.
unless you're playing the Temple package, like
Then it's
basically
still, though.
cannot take
5,
out of my
but
deck. Then
Even
it's a
still.
5 and it's okay.
It's if you nexus everything to him. I think his job is to have you nexus stuff to other stuff, and then swing in with your.
No.
spirit
It's just
thing.
that he can be on the board.
Oh yeah, I
Or
mean he
even
might
order
live
Nexus
through
and
it,
say,
but
yeah. That's the only thing is he won't live through most stuff, right?
yeah.
Does he have to stay alive? As in, like, can he move a spirit from itself to
Yes.
the location as part of the Nexus and have the effects still apply?
Yes.
All right, that's good for the card.
No,
No. Why not?
because you can Nexus up to 2. That's
Oh
the
no,
ability.
sorry. Yeah, I'm absolutely wrong.
Falls off. Chain result.
I was reading it as a There's a floating
that
continuous
second
effect,
part
but
is
it's
a
not.
continuous effect while it's on the field.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Mulligan's
I
goodies.
the more you read them, I think these guys see no play, and I'm sad about it because I like them, but I don't think they're
Their
any good.
artwork is amazing too.
I like-
Especially Terror Star.
All right, into the back half of the set, the final third here. Our first new divine rune, it's Hestia. She's a 1 fire divine. When you cast, you can chant up to 3 additional fire. You can disenchant 2 fire from this Hestia in order to special cast a 1 spirit fire Elestral from your hand with fire if an opponent controls the same number of Elestrals as you or more. So as long as they've got a guy in play and you've got none, or at least 1 more than you, she can put a 1 cost fire guy into play all the time. Specifically, the one that comes to my mind is the Torchin, who would find Torch of Hestia, which is the 1 cost fire artifact rune. This empowered Elestral gets +2 attack for 1 fire, and when the empowered Elestral declares an attack, you can foretell 3. If Hestia is enchanted, you may add a fire card foretold this way to your hand. Yep, these cards are nuts.
Yeah.
In the artifact deck, these cards are nuts.
Wow. That costs 1 fire spirit.
1 fire.
Yeah.
Which
If
is
Hestia is enchanted, you just duality every time you swing.
yeah. And again, you're playing that theoretically
Sure.
the Volcaries champion of
Yeah.
Hephaestus is making that card getting paid out of your underworld. Like
That's crazy.
Wow.
But wait, there's more synergy.
I know there's more.
Next up is the one fire counter rune, Hestia's Hearth. Enchant fire from your underworld to a card on your field, 1 fire. Then, if that card was Hestia or a champion of Hestia, you can enchant an additional fire from your underworld to it.
Sure.
And Anvil of Hephaestus, a 1-cost fire artifact rune. So again, we might be playing that effectively for free. The Empowered Celestial gets +1 attack. When an artifact rune on your field is sent to the underworld, you can enchant each spirit that was enchanting that artifact to another card on your field.
When an artifact on your field is sent to your underworld, you can enchant each spirit that was enchanting it to a card. Okay, so no. That is just a load of insane.
Anvil's insane.
Yeah.
I think Hestia's Earth is
You
actually
would send over
good.
a guy, and then the empowerment goes away, and then you're like, it's Arklith at home, basically.
I feel like
Arkleth at
Hestia's-
home. Every time they kill one of your things, it's just it's you're not losing those spirits half the
Yeah,
time.
no, that's the downside with artifact runes. It's not the cards; it's the spirit count.
And Hearth is just Ambrosia at home for that deck.
It's even it's full moon, but better. It's insane. Or the
really
lunar
think
phase, whatever.
this
it is.
fire artifact deck is.
Oh my! And
nuts.
we aren't even
Oh, yeah.
halfway through it.
Again, check out the YouTube channel over the next week or so. We do have a deck list profile coming up of the cards that are already legal for this as of May 1st from the Shattered Stars, and how you can play it now. And as soon as this set goes live on June 1st, maybe a little before, we'll have a deck list up on what this version of the deck looks like.
It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, this is going to be really dumb.
This is giving similar vibes to when Welder was running the meta in Pokemon.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a fire deck, and
Yeah.
Welder allows you to attach 2 basic fire energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon.
Yep.
If you do, you draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
Just being able to cheat the main resource of the game while not losing anything for it, it's completely busted, and this is giving those vibes, and like I said, we're not even halfway through it.
Yeah.
So
We've covered Arachne's Lair and Fulloy Forest, Burning Woods. Anyone have anything they want to add to those now that we've seen a bunch of the other cards? I don't.
Not really. We kind of know what these are doing.
Yeah.
They're
Arachne's
very much
Lair-
so just enabling stuff. Fulloy Forest is
Fulloy Forest is whatever. Arachne's
Yeah.
Lair is probably a cool deck, and if it is actually good, it's because it has a Lith at home.
yeah, I mean, drawing a card on every card that you play, I mean, just inherently, it's very good.
Yeah. It
Fulloy-
does force you to play some very mid cards, though. Even
You're right.
ones that are better
But-
now than they were before.
I mean, hey, putting draw a card on those cards makes them a lot less mid.
It sure does.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I can think of with Fulloy Forest is like if a stadium deck comes out in the future.
You mean like Arachne's Lair?
Yeah, but
I mean, no. I
Does
mean
Fulloy
like,
Forest counter? No, I don't think it does.
No.
either.
I mean like something that's trying to play multiple stadiums in a turn. You know, where it's just like, well, you gotta at least expend 2 for your first time. You know, where it's like, it's not good.
no.
You saw it.
This is
So
I hate
remember when I said
hate
that
this.
Hestia's Earth is, I don't know, it's kind of like full moon, kind of like Ambrosia at home. Get ready, sports fans, for the last fire card in the set. This is Reforge. It's a 1-fire invoke. Return an artifact rune from your underworld to your hand, and then return spirits equal to that artifact rune's enchantment cost from your underworld to your spirit deck. It's insane. It's Ambrosia at home
Literally,
plus recursion.
you,
Spoiled for.
that's fair.
Yeah, no.
Good that you had it. We
Do
both
it.
traded 1 spirit each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
We're
it's
both down
crazy.
a card. I mean, that is so
This card is really,
unbelievably
really-
insane.
This card's really dumb. It's really good.
And watch this though. If you've got Volcari's Champion of Hephaestus in play, you play this card, you pick up your rune to hand, those 2 spirits go back into your deck, then when you play the artifact rune, you play them with fire out of your underworld.
Yeah, no, you're
Ambrosia.
going plus the
Yeah,
entire
that,
time.
That card is really
Insane.
Good. It's insane.
Yeah, it's
it's ambrosia that's also card selection, but it's also like, you know, you get to boost your guy up and give it insane abilities, and like it's so messed up how you get to manage your resources with cards like this.
That deck feels like it's going to be doing things from a resource loop perspective that this game hasn't seen before. And
Well,
not
yeah,
even close.
because they're gonna be playing, and like a third of the way through the game, you're gonna be like, how many spirits do you have in deck? And they'll be like 16. It's like, what?
How? I've killed 4 of your artifacts with 2
Can I see
runes
your
I
discard?
need.
How many ambrosias are in there? None.
What? Yeah, what? Like,
Are you even running ambrosia? A one of. What?
so here's the
Like
thing.
it's gonna.
I was the crazy thing when I was looking at some of this stuff and starting to build, like, lab it up, right? I was like, I might play a divine healing or two, like get those extra spirits on my Hephaestus or my Hestia.
That would never be
and I'm
in
like,
your underworld.
do I ever need that now?
Yeah, is
I have-
divine healing
as soon
even
as I hit-
live?
Yeah,
For
when I hit Reforge, I'm like, oh, never mind. I don't need divine healings. They'll never be live.
Yeah,
I'll never have her.
insane. And
Absolutely
well,
insane.
yeah, because the fire spirits that are in your underworld are being used to play your cards.
Yep. You almost
So-
want them there.
Yeah,
You're gonna run out of them in your underworld,
yeah,
possibly.
you're like, they're taking up space
Maybe
in my
next year
spirit
the
deck.
god does get played.
The Ignector's in it. Oh, all right. From one insane card in Reforge to maybe, in my opinion, the card that I'm the most terrified of as a game mechanic, as a game thing, but it is also something that I think we desperately need in this game. Our first, I'm gonna quotes because it's maybe not, board wipe. Ladies and gentlemen, Poseidon's Fury, 1 water, invoke, disenchant any number of water spirits from your Poseidon. An opponent disenchants the same number of spirits from their field.
You're eating good with this set, huh?
This card's nuts.
Yeah, so like,
This is the stupidest card.
The dumbest card.
the thing that I would like to point out about this to the people watching at home is that there are a good amount of Elestrals that have various protection effects. How like they can't be targeted. Some just say they're unaffected by invoke runes.
None of it matters.
Yeah, because Poseidon's Fury is it's making you do a player action. It's affecting the player and making them disenchant the spirits from their
Targeting
field.
the player.
So
The
unless the
player is doing it.
player is unaffected, which doesn't exist and probably won't,
Yep.
this card gets around
Not
every
even
single board
targeting
that
the
you
player.
can
Not
draw.
targeting.
And
It doesn't even
opponent.
target the player.
No,
Like,
Doesn't
no,
even target the player.
it's
They thought about multiplayer with this.
Does it say in order to?
nope.
That's not cost.
Disenchant any number of water from 1 or more. So it's 1 or more of your Poseidon. An opponent disenchants the same number.
Yeah, it would
That's
say in
not cost.
It would say
That
in order
disenchant
to.
for a fact.
so if
To
you
be
negate
fair, though.
if you negate this with Divine Blessing, I don't have
Yes.
to pay off.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't say, like, to be fair, you can't use it turn over turn because it's an invoke, but, like,
No, yeah. That is actually so disgusting. I cannot wait for this card. My
I think it might be the
goodness.
best card in the set.
I'm
like,
playing
that's my
Water
early
for
call
the rest
now,
of my
but-
life.
I
Probably
love
gonna
how
go
it's-
banned.
It's a rare too. It's not even foiled.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not even foil.
Yeah,
Just a rare.
it's rare.
insane.
It's
Like they don't
card's
even.
insane.
It's like Adrian
Uh,
doesn't even know.
no.
Maybe he does.
They're just saving the foil for the Shattered Stars full art.
It's either that or they're making it low rarity so it doesn't. The band doesn't hurt
Yeah.
our wallets.
That too. This set also has Poseidon and Zeus. Exact same effects as their old reprints of those 2 divines.
Can we talk about
cool.
how much I hate this Poseidon art? What? Love the Zeus art.
I
I
like the Poseidon
like
art.
both.
Yeah,
I will tell
like
you
them
that
both.
the original Poseidon is like
Insane.
one of the most attractively drawn people ever.
And the
But-
icon.
Oh yeah, he's the icon.
Yeah.
But I like that one.
I'm not saying okay. I, don't
I
wanna say
really
that I
like
hate
this. Is
art.
like
I
47
do like this
pack
art,
of
but in terms of
abs.
the old art,
Wish I
I do
could.
prefer the old Poseidon art. The new Zeus art though is just
That Zeus art
blowing
is
my
crazy.
mind. I
more
love
ways
it.
to get foil divines though. That's kind of
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're doing that in every
accessibility.
set now, I think,
accessibility
since,
for foil divines is great.
since Daybreak.
And this is kind of what I figure we're going to see for the next 4 sets. Honestly, if you look, they did their first 4 sets to introduce all the elements almost like a block.
Hmm.
I think our next block is going to be Divine Champions something. We'll get 2 new divines of 2 elements and a reprint of 2 other element divines.
Yeah.
So at the end of the 4, we'll wind up with 8, 2 of each element.
Yeah.
That would
makes
be
perfect sense.
That would be awesome.
The last Thunder card is Zeus's Call, 1 cost invoke. You can only play it if Zeus is enchanted. Search your deck for a champion of Zeus added to your hand.
For 1.
Really
good.
Wait. Yeah, that card's crazy.
Yeah, it's card.
That's insane.
So here's the thing. I think it's search your deck for a card is always good.
Well,
Especially with options that this one's going to give you. I think it's kind of mid. However, the looming threat of I paid 1, I put Volt Tempest, Champion of Zeus, in my hands. I dare you to clear my field. You'll have to deal with this 14 attacker.
It's got Voltempest on the card. That is exactly what they want.
Wow,
you to
wait,
use it for.
yeah,
Volt
that's
Tempest on
actually
speed
kind of
dial.
insane.
Yeah. It's also
What do you?
Titano Strike and Spark It on speed dial.
Oh, you
Yep.
know what? You know what you put
That
in?
is the 4th, 5th, and 6th copy of anything
Just-
you want.
Maybe
Just put an Astro Rabbit out.
not Spark.
They won't kill it.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
Yeah.
they do,
Yeah, Spark's escape from
Volt
Tartarus,
Tempest
not a
them.
champion.
it is Escape from Tartarus.
Right.
You're right. It's not.
But no,
champion.
yeah, you're
but
absolutely
yeah,
right.
Titano
if you
Strike,
play if you play a Rabbit turn 1, you have consistency to find either half of that. If you play it, you search the Volt Tempest, and if they don't kill the Rabbit, you're just Rabbit gaming. You're playing Thunder Nexus anyways. Who cares? You could probably normal ascend the Volt Tempest.
Here's an
With
interesting
how much
thing.
they're not
Without going down the Thunder Nexus hole that we went into
Yeah.
when we're talking about Spark.
Yeah.
The reason that we're so
because that can search Titano Strike too.
This card probably hyper mid in most decks. In the Thunder Nexus, I'm just playing advantage when everyone else
Yeah,
is
the
playing
mid range,
stuff.
the mid range hell.
This might be busted.
Oh, it's insane.
yeah.
It's just no stone. It's just no stone unturned for half the cost.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only reason that no stone unturned doesn't really see play outside of being kind of weird in what it can surge is because the initial cost is kind of steep.
Yeah, it makes lists that already cost a little extra cost even more.
Yeah.
You know who also costs a lot, as we just discussed earlier, and Dana disagrees with us, is Hermes. He's our wind divine for 1 wind. When you play him, you can enchant up to 3 extra winds to him, and you can disenchant 2 winds from your Hermes to search your deck for a wind Elestral, send it to your underworld. I think we probably covered him pretty well with most of the champion stuff. Anyone have anything that they want to add to Hermes? I still think he's overcosted. And the fact that it's disenchant 2 doesn't change my mind.
I'm saying it could have
like
been
him a lot.
like a 3-in-1.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. If it had been disenchant 1 to do his effect, maybe I'm like, well, you only really have to put 1 extra on him to proc once or twice. You can do the fact that you basically have to full send him for 4 and then only get 2 procs out of him anyway. I think it just adds to my case that I think he's just
I
you could
understand
be
where
doing
you're-
things better for the
I understand where you're coming from.
Still good.
I'd hope to see that future design makes it
Mhm.
more not so punishing to use in the face of cards like Lava Lith
Yeah,
or like resting.
I don't think the
Because you're right, you do have to full send that shit. I mean, you could put 1 additional on it and then pop it, but I mean,
Then what? Yeah, now
Yeah,
he's
that's-
just an
it's-
Nexus Bank. Yeah.
would you rather spend your 2 spirits on that or Nectar of the Gods? Unironically.
Yeah, no, for real.
well, no, he's not even just a Nexus bank. Then what I'm saying is I don't think if the Blistrix deck is going to play this, which I think it will, they're never going to use it as a Nexus bank. They're only
Oh,
ever
no.
going to use it as a 2-costed send Blistrix. They're
Right.
going to
Well, yeah,
put
because
1
this is-
additional
this
on
is
and
my
then
point,
detach
though.
the 2 and send Blistrix and call it. a day.
And this is kind of when we talked about that initially when we were talking about sending with some of his stuff, but that's just 2 more, effectively for the 4 spirits you have to commit to Hermes, 2 more of those are going towards the already expensive cost of a Blistrix. And don't get me wrong, we play Rise from the Ashes for Blistrix for a reason, because when you put it in play, it's damn good and it can win the game. But it's just another card to me that it's just adding small little taxes to things along the way that slowly add up, especially in the current version of Blistrix. Now, maybe this concise target one as compared to the mill one is different, but in the current versions of Blistrix, you need every spirit you can get. You run out of them. You win lots of games at 0 spirits or 1 spirit. to have an extra tax on things, I think might just be not good enough. I think it's still
potentially. Yeah, I think it's still going to be playable. And I mean, when we're talking about like attacks, we're talking about attacks for consistency rather than saying people playing Avalanche or having to expend for your S-Prowl, and right there it's your 2 spears. So like,
well, and don't get me wrong, I think that my guess is that the full concise deck is too tax heavy to be viable, and the current mill only strategy of Blisterix is too inconsistent to be viable in the new what will be the new Firestorm meta. So there will have to be, my opinion, it's the mill deck that adds a Hermes or 2, maybe one other card to just try to add a slight form of consistency to get there often enough to compete with again, decks like Majesty we're talking is a 2-card combo.
Yeah.
All good? Okay.
Yeah, no, that I think I have to agree with you, but we'll also just have to see. Like,
yeah,
there's no real way to, other than proxying, of course. There's no real way to see what's going to happen, and of course, our group is not a perfect way of seeing how that's going to perform.
No, we're a small group. We have basically just our locals and the premier webcams to do stuff with.
We go to the Millennium, which is people from all over the area. You're traveling from up to just about 2 hours away from each direction.
Yeah, and again, that's once a month. You're seeing a dozen-ish players. Even then, though, that's a once a month. That's our play testing is going to be it's limited, to what we do on our spare time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's right. I think Hermes absolutely has the chance to be a totally good deck. You were talking about like pining for a full-on control deck. If I'm just completely wrong in it, and Hermes is the most busted divine that's ever happened because his cards are not as taxing as I think they are, that's the control deck you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
yeah, I just don't see. I think it's taxing. It's a little too taxing. But I think he finds one of 2 of Home's places just as a, hey, look at this neat trick I can do card. You know what else he has? He's got 2 artifacts that go with him. The Caduceus of Hermes is a 1-cost artifact, wind. When the Empowered Elestral is destroyed in battle, you can target another 1-spirit wind Elestral in your underworld and special cast it. And the Teleria of Hermes is a 2-cost wind artifact. The Empowered Elestral gets +2 defense. When the Empowered Elestral is destroyed in battle, you can draw 2 cards. Then, if Hermes is enchanted, you can search your deck for either a Teleria of Hermes or a Caduceus of Hermes and add it to your deck. Add it to your hand, excuse me.
I think they're going to see about as much play as the commons they are. Like, they're going to see play in limited, maybe.
Yeah, if a good limited format busts, springs up, these cards are nuts. In constructed play, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Boyer is teching win for some. I don't know.
You can search them, right? Off of
yeah,
Festus.
you can definitely search them. I don't see them. I think they're just up until this round of support we're getting. Artifacts have always pretty much been just the bad cards. I think these cards probably fall in the same power level as our former artifacts, more so than our new ones.
Minus the sneaky solar deck that happened.
Yeah, again,
but
you get one of the best players in the world with a brew that he's been on for literally since Daybreak came out. People weren't necessarily prepared for it. The Elestronauts and Swolax were also on that Grass on the Moon that was playing some Argo into Scythe. There are ways to use artifacts to your advantage. They're just they were currently too costly. Now with Valkyrie's Live, they're maybe only too costly. When this stuff comes out, I think that opinion gets flipped on its head real fast. They'll be the most easy to play things in the game, maybe. Hermes also has a counter rune for 1 wind. Hermes Trickery says, this Hermes Trickery can only be played if Hermes is enchanted. Destroy an Elestral on your field. If you do, special cast another Elestral from your underworld using only spirits that were enchanting the destroyed Elestral. I don't like it.
No.
I want it to be good
So,
so bad.
Only if Hermes is enchanted. Destroy an Elestral in your field to special cast another from your field.
I'm going to tell you right now, if this card didn't say only if Hermes is enchanted can you play it, at some point it would be a problem.
Oh, it'd be busted.
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
But because that condition, even if Hermes is good,
Yeah.
just the fact that you need another card in play just to proc it, not
Those
good.
cards always fall short.
Yep.
So
4 cards that kind of go together that may or may not fall short are the a suite of 4 different wind counter runes. The first one is Sirocco of Nodus, is a wind and a fire to play. Until the next turn, players must also expend 2 of any type of spirit in order to declare an attack with an Elestral that is not wind or fire enchanted.
This is not a wind fire card. This is a everything card.
Can be, yeah.
Yeah. This card is really cool. It's really cool, and it can just completely win you a game.
It's not
I don't think it.
threatening or Wabaku from Yu-Gi-Oh players, but it is akin to Ghostly Prison in
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
Or like
Sphere of
Toll.
safety.
Toll in
Toll.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Pay
Toll.
500 life points to attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I
like,
really like it.
I don't
Usually
think
only
this
need
could.
to
I don't think this could ever like. This can't burn them out
No,
because they will just
they
not
just
attack.
stop attack. Yeah,
But
It can stop them from attacking.
stopping attacking, I mean,
can be really good.
it's extremely good.
So
Depending on the
The thing
circumstances,
is,
of course,
like,
but like
it's
you're
Morgan's
in.
Gaze for their whole field late game when you just need that one little bump. And
I
I
think
think it's
this
really
card gets
good.
better as the game goes on, for
It-
sure.
and it gets better the more Elestrals they have in play, the
Yep.
more attack position Elestrals they have in play that they
Mm-hmm.
want to attack with. Because, like, yeah, at that point it is just a board-wide Gorgon's Gaze. No effect negation. But I
It
mean,
can really hurt the Blistrix deck, and solely because
Here's,
they can only attack with Blistrix.
here's my one devil's advocate to this, because I think this is a decent card. For 1 water, I can basically again, not water guys, but I can basically stop all their attacks by turning their whole board sideways to
Yeah.
their little tiny defenses and then run them all over next turn. This card costs me twice as much in less popular element. Maybe that won't be the case later, but currently,
it's the same color
Um,
for Arachne's Lair, so hey.
yeah. And it gives them full, like, control over. Gives them agency over.
Yeah,
Is it worth the 2 to run this guy over or not?
Uh,
Giving my opponent agency is bad.
Yeah, like the thing is, like if you're gonna clear something because you need to,
You're gonna
paying
pay
the
that.
2 life is not gonna be the difference maker unless you were either already losing or like, you just mismanaged your resources.
I think that's exactly it. Late game, this might be just really good if you get the late game scenarios in a tight game, but it might be slightly more win more than. I
Also,
want it to be.
like
It's
if
okay.
you come across like
I
the
think it's
Majesty,
good, yeah.
if you come across the Majesty deck, that's not gonna affect what I'm doing because my win condition. It's not. I don't care about how many spirits are in your spirit deck. I care about how many are in mine.
Yeah.
Like I'll just fatigue you out. I mean that card
Mm-hmm.
stops me for a turn, but when we've got 25 turns to play out,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter.
All right,
Not for 2 spirits of different colors.
The second tropical storm card we have is Monsoon of Aorus. It is a wind and a water. Enchant up to 2 omnis in any combination of up to 2 spirits in any combination of wind or water to your field. Suppress each face-up card that is not wind or water enchanted until the next turn.
Yeah, so I'm playing this in the Majesty deck because I'm playing Peliquarius as a consistency card, and that gives me access to wind spirits. That card is insane.
I think in that very niche application, you're absolutely correct.
It's a counter rune, right?
Uh-huh.
They're all counter runes. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a quick effect, suppress, and
Yep.
you enchant.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what? That's really good in that specific scenario. I think Sam's really onto something there. Other than that,
I think in that
it's
very
kinda-
specific scenario, you're absolutely
Imagine
cooking.
like you
In-
imagine you re-enchant the Galaxy Champion of Poseidon. You suppress their board, and then you switch their stats.
Yeah. No, like I said, I think in that very specific scenario, this card is very good. I think overall, it's actually kind of mid.
Oh, I'm not main decking it. I'm going to be siding it.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, it's double cost, full moon. like it's putting 2 things from your
Right.
deck.
After kind of looking at all of these, I think I can't really read Breeze, but
Yeah, we'll get there.
so far it looks like they're very specific scenario cards, and they're going to be in very specific decks, and they are not generic, and they are not meant to be.
Yeah, these are hyper not generic.
Yeah.
There will be decks that take advantage of them, and it will feel like why are more players not playing this card?
Yeah, like
Um,
the Sirocco of Nodus in particular,
Mhm.
like the Arachne's Lair combination, I feel like is kind of important.
Yeah, that's
because that
another
deck
thing.
is just gonna go very wide with small things,
Mm-hmm.
so like it's gonna be very easy to run over stuff. If you disincentivize that, it can just be not worth it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waste spirits on something I wouldn't waste a card on. So
It
Correct.
looks like
I'll just not attack.
it looks like these cards are all
Might be
like
the mentality of it.
sign it mining, where it's like
You don't have to play
if
it.
you're playing a cyber stack, you're like, yeah, it's the best card in my deck, or it's that's not a good card for my deck. I have to be playing a different deck for that, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what I think these cards are. They're very much so meant to be specific.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they are.
Yeah.
Speaking of ones that are meant to be very specific, Mistral of Boreas, the 1 wind, 1 frost counter rune. When this Mistral of Boreas can only be played when an opponent plays an artifact or divine rune, put that rune in their rune row face down. It can't be played again this
This
turn.
is broken, busted card.
This is a really good sideboard card.
that
I
could-
think.
Wow, yeah,
insane.
that's sick.
That card is broken.
That's nice.
And again, I think it's super niche. I think it's niche. I think
it is
it's
conditional on activation,
No, it's absolutely a sideboard card.
Yeah, I
agree
think
with
it's
you
just a
there.
really good
It is-
sideboard
it
card.
but
is
it's
really
gonna
good.
overperform for sure.
Yeah.
When you put
100%.
it into low performance.
Yeah,
sure.
like if
That's
I
probably
need
a really good Pandora's box replacement right now, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Although maybe Pandora's box might come back.
All right, last one in the set of those of the wind cards is Breeze of Nephiros, a wind and a solar. Nexus, a wind or solar. If you do, you may give each wind or solar enchanted Elestral on your field +2 attack and +2 defense until the next turn. We have a battle trick.
board wide +2/+2 is not bad.
Yeah, problem if it didn't have to be the Nexus, if it was just the +2/+2
Right.
cards busted, I would go so far as to say even if it was just one guy, it would have been busted.
Yeah.
The fact that I have to have the Nexus Bank to give all my guys, it will be situational, and when you get blown out by it, you will get very blown out by it, but most of the time it will just not be live.
Yeah.
The way you want it to be.
Yeah, especially in those colors.
Speaking of cards that might not always be live, Hibernation.
This is the best card ever.
It's really good. 1 Frost Invoke. This Hibernation can only be played if you control an Ursa Elestral. Target up to 2 fire or frost spirits in your underworld. Oh, look, the bear colors. Return them to your spirit deck or enchant them to your Ursa Den. If you do, draw a card.
So broken.
In one very, very specific deck, this card is nuts, and everything else, this card is the poop.
Yeah, but it's like Ambrosia that draws a card, but it's also Divine Healing that draws a card. But like, it's just ridiculous.
Yep.
This is the perfect definition. I know that I'm going to bring up limited again here, and there isn't really limited formats in this game quite yet, but like this is the perfect definition of constructed powerhouse limited dog shit. Like,
Yeah, I mean, especially because it
Yeah.
references a card in another set.
yeah, exactly.
2 last cards for the most part. We've got Lyre of Apollo. Lyre of Apollo.
Liar.
It is
Not a
a
truther.
singular solar artifact. The empowered Elestrals attack and defense are swapped. All of your champion of Apollos get +2/+2.
Can you? You
Interesting.
can
It's
only
very
empower. You can empower their things, right?
You can.
What is Heliolith stuff? What's its attack and defense?
He's a 5/5, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. My bad.
You can, however, I mean, again, if you're in solar for your Heliolith, it's a 1-cost artifact, swaps a guy's attack and defense. How many times have we seen eddies and tsunamis and galaxies mess up dudes because they have tiny defenses?
Lucky.
Yeah, I mean this card is a, really good. I think it's really good in one very specific deck.
I was gonna say just the reason that Elichick is at 1 is because it was a 4/1, and then all of a sudden you have Plucky
Yeah.
that's swapped.
I'm thinking you
Basically
could even
same
just
thing.
use it as a quasi kill spell on your opponent's side. Think if you go,
Oh yeah.
your
don't
Like
have
a Void is now a 2/6. I normal cast for turn my Heliolith, bounce something else, run over your Like a Void.
Yep.
Like, Seems real good.
Yeah, no, I like that card a lot. This next card I don't like as much.
Solar Charge? You don't like the 1 solar costing Invoke rune that says enchant a solar from your underworld to an Elestral on your field?
No, not really, to be honest.
Okay.
How?
The only thing that it kind of
How do you not like that card? That's like insane.
I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying I don't really like it. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you can take your 1-drop and turn it into a 3-drop very easily. But, make me think different.
So I absolutely hate to agree with Dana about things.
Yeah.
I don't think it's full on dog shit. I think we'll have applications of getting small guys to big guys, getting extra damage, and doing very specific things, setting up a Nexus Bank that if you don't have one, turning a guy into a Nexus Bank. The one problem I have with it is you're paying a solar and losing a card to enchant a solar to your thing. Yes, I understand that's like being able to re-enchant.
Oh, so
the
you're
thing
saying
for-
it suffers from the Nectar of the Gods problem, where basic game mechanics get around it, and you
Yeah.
don't need to be
You
-1.
don't have to play this card.
But you're
You
normal
just-
cast. You're normal cast.
I understand. I think that it
I know.
suffers from the game mechanic problem that you can just play quote better card in its place and rely on using the physical game mechanic to get there.
There's other ways to go turn 2 Celestial.
I haven't seen it, so it's not real.
And
So
these
we're not
are
going to
the
necessarily
full
go
arts.
over all the full arts. All of them are gorgeous. For anyone who doesn't know, they are. All of the spirits are just foil versions of the common ones at the beginning of the set, and they're all gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Box toppers, everybody are Majursa champion of Hestia, Majesty champion of Poseidon, get your box topper, and Voltempest champion of Zeus, with some. All three have absolutely killer art.
Yeah, those look amazing.
And carry off champion of Hermes. Sorry, 4 box toppers
Wow.
in this one. And also, fun thing, you know how they do I believe it's the X of 10 for box toppers. If I'm not mistaken, I thought I saw this set, the box toppers will be X of 25s.
Ooh,
So you have kind of a new
Interesting.
awesome.
plateau
So there's
spot.
100 total serialized box toppers.
Yep.
That's
Sweet.
Yeah,
pretty
which
cool.
I kind of like that's how that broke down. I don't think we've had any of the serialized spoiled yet. Oh, we have. Spinef champion of Hermes, the Ignector in case the deep draw deck's really good, the awful Flammoth, the Chrysor if you want to summon him with that, Narpoon,
Oh, the Kite Mite for the
The
Arachne Slayer deck.
Kite Mite, Nemastar,
Earth Scout and Sluggle is huge. Oh,
Yep.
and Elichek, of course.
And Elichek,
well,
yep.
these are the plushies, of course.
Yep, all the
Yeah.
plushies
All
are
the plushies.
available.
Carry on plushie scene.
Hestia,
Yeah.
Sluggle,
Ooh,
Elichek.
we got some X of
And
10.
these are
Yeah,
the
no,
these are
look
X
at
of
that
25.
majesty.
Yep.
Oh, X of 25 box toppers.
Look
yeah,
at that
that's awesome.
majesty. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that's
Let's
that's
do
everything in the
Majesty. Is
set.
he yellow?
He is pink. It's like the
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it looks amazing.
Oh, I know you're probably just gonna buy one of those.
Buy like 7 of them, yeah.
So, any kind of closing thoughts you guys got on Firestorm? My thought is simply this set is going to invalidate all of the below average and under cards in the game from previous sets. The ones that were like, oh, this card isn't any good now, but maybe with the right support later, it could. All those cards have been replaced by something in this set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly,
I think this
this is-
revolutionizes the meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to completely change. None of the decks that are currently playable are playable. Like they are going to change.
They
enough
will
that
see
they
drastic
will be
change.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Like-
the only one that's got a chance is the Blistrix deck because it's the only one that has the high end to compete with what the high end of these decks are going to look like
Yeah.
if it gets
yeah.
some consistency.
I think this is a consequence
It's
of
going to
the
change a
rest of
lot.
the game catching up to Blistrix.
that. Yeah. And,
And-
because of the
Yeah.
consistency that some of these are showing,
Right. Yeah, I mean,
could be
if,
showing.
If Blistrix can turn one combo, might as well make other decks that can too.
All right, final thoughts. Day one, we know Sam. What are you building?
Water.
Water, Majesty, Dana.
Probably gonna stick with Lunar. Might attempt a Blistrix build. I don't know.
All right, I'm doing the fire artifact stuff. One last plug for check the channel. In the next week or so, we have a deck list going up for what that deck currently, right now, is legal as of May 1st, some of the cards in Shadow Stars, what that deck looks like, and another deck list profile going up shortly after that about what it's gonna look like when this comes out. One last time, you guys want to plug anything for yourselves, plug your channels again, anything you want to do where people can find you. I appreciate you coming and sharing the time with me.
Absolutely, I appreciate you inviting me, but I've been Danasaur YGO on YouTube. Please go check out some videos if you like or play Yu-Gi-Oh! I do a lot of rogue and meta and kind of mix in between content. I also just kind of break down archetypes and tell you all of the cards that could be played, why they don't get played, how they could be, why they do get played, and etc. So yeah, please go check me out there. We're gonna see some Elestrals content coming up soon, especially with some of the weirder rogue decks where my mind just takes something weird that nobody else likes and figures out a way to do something with it. So I'll pass you over to Sam.
Yeah, and I've been Smams YGO. You can find me on YouTube. As I said, I don't really have much content on there, but I mean, you could find me on Twitter with the same handle. I usually crash out on there.
Excellent. So yeah, check out these guys' channels. Give them a like and a follow. Follow their channels. I expect that we'll be seeing more of them as more sets like these come out. We'll have more things to talk about, more Elestrals coverage here at Gather Geek with these guys around, hopefully. Throw us a comment down below. Tell us you want to see these guys again. Like, tell us how cool you thought Sam was, or how like Dana's just like the most obnoxious person we hate her so much. Oh my god. Or you know, the inverse. Be like, yeah, you know, this guy. Thank God we have people that we can care about on the channel instead of this moron talking to us.
Hey.
One last thing before everybody goes. Business as usual. I need you to appease my YouTube overlords. Hit this video with a like and a subscribe. If you like this content, hit that like button. We'll see it. We know you want more of it. We'll keep making it. Subscribe to the channel so you can keep coming on back. We want to be your one-stop shop for TCGs like this, role-playing games, RPGs, and all the games that are in between. We want to be your one-stop shop for everything geek and fun. Don't want you to miss a single thing. Until the next time, guys like us get a chance to gather around and geek out with you. From everybody here at Gather Geek, GG. Excellent.
Those water cards are the best cards ever.
I want you to know, I desperately want to play them, but I only like the more I read the fire cards. Like, nope. I want to agree with you, but you're wrong.
You just know that we're just going to be playing fire water format for the next, like, until we're in the nursing homes. It's literally going to be playable for the next 80 years.
Yeah.